Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another case file of PIB.
I'm Agent E,
And I'm Agent A, and we are.
the Paranormal Intelligence Bureau.
So, we're back.
We're back. We took a little bit of a road trip.
Yeah, we went on a little, 2-week break since we did a case file here. We went and we watched Disclosure Day.
Very good.
We spent a lot of time at the library and bookstores doing a lot of research and studying, and now we're back here. So what's today's case?
So today's case file is something that has perplexed a lot of individuals over the years.
Okay.
And that is specifically duendes, gnomes, and goblins.
Duendes, gnomes, and goblins.
Yeah.
I feel like they're all similar to each other. I feel like they have a lot of similarities.
They do, and that's why we are classifying them into one case file. And as we dive a little bit deeper into this case file, everyone will see why.
Okay. No, I've done some research myself, and but I'm gonna really let you take over and explain what the 3 categories are.
Perfect. So, just to give you an overview of what these little entities are, they are small humanoid entities, right? They inhabit homes, forests, caves, and remote areas worldwide. So they're not just in one specific area of the world, they're everywhere.
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 All throughout the world.
Yes, they're all throughout the world. They are extremely territorial and they're very protective of their domain.
Okay.
Right? So, some of the cool things is what I think is cool is that they range anywhere between 1 foot to 3 feet in height. So it's a pretty large gap, I would say.
From 1 to 3 feet?
Yeah, it's a pretty large gap.
Yeah.
They often have pointy ears.
I read there's a way of measurement from your thumb to your pinky. I forgot what this is called. This is a form of measurement, and they said the size of a gnome is 2 of them. So a gnome would be actually like this tall, almost a foot.
A foot, like a ruler,
yeah,
right?
But this was the example they would use to measure them.
So they move very quickly. They don't like direct eye contact whatsoever.
Okay.
They're typically wearing earth-colored garments. So
brown, greens.
Yeah, those earth tones.
Yeah.
They have very large eyes as well.
And this is all 3 of them? This is what they have been
they have in common.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say they have pretty much in common. Depending on different areas of the world. In Latin America, they're called duendes. In European folklore, they're called gnomes. In British, they're called goblins. And then in different parts of the world too, they're called different things. So, I thought that was pretty cool to see that we're all talking about the same things, but everyone has different names for them.
So if we wanted to search for a gnome, a duende, or a goblin, they're practically all over the world, but they're mainly found in high forest areas?
Yes, very remote areas.
Rural,
some homes, forests, caves, things of that nature.
Now, what are their behaviors like?
So, like I said, they're extremely territorial. A nickname that a lot of them have is the master of their domain or of their homes, right? They're very playful. Some of them can be mischievous, or they can be pranksters and tricksters. Since we categorized all 3 of them into one subject, they have different personalities as well, right? So I thought that was also very interesting. They don't like loud noises. They don't like being disrespected. And they don't like broken promises. So if you're going to do something, you better do it.
I think that sounds like all of us. I think we can relate.
We can relate to that, to our little gnomies friends here.
Okay, gnomies, goblins, and duendes.
So they're...
Now, when you say duende, is that a Spanish word?
Yes, it's more of a Latin American word. They also have it in the Philippines where it's called duendes, but with a W instead of a U. So it's very similar as well.
Okay.
And they're very active at night typically, or they do come out in the daytime as much, but they're more active at night.
But maybe shady areas.
Correct.
in the shadows.
So, like I said, some of the most common sightings are in rural homes, farms, barns, that rhymed, forests, caves, mines, old ruins, and any water source. So, typically, like um, rivers, lakes, where you can find like rainforest or any type of agriculture that they'll be around there.
Hmm.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
So, like I said, dusk, nighttime, early morning, and also during storms. That one surprised me a little bit, that they would come out during the storms, like thunderstorms, but it makes
Well, if you said, they
sense.
all have different personalities, some of them could be playing in the rain, some of
Hmm.
them could be collecting rainwater for, whatever reason. Or just the fact that during the rain, everyone seems to go inside.
Yeah.
We spend our time indoors when it rains. We avoid the rain. So that's maybe the perfect time for them to come out and explore and do what they have to do.
Yeah, especially if it sounds like they don't like the sun very much.
Okay.
So when it rains, there's not a lot of sun out. Typically, there's not
Hmm.
a lot of sun out.
So I wonder if that would explain maybe their pigmentation as well.
Yes.
Maybe they are on the lighter skin tone,
Hmm.
these guys.
Yeah, what surprised me is because since they don't like loud noises, it's like how would they like a thunderstorm? But I guess that's a different type of frequency, when it hurts.
Now I'm guessing there's male and female versions of
They are
all of these.
males and female versions of them, but most of them, the stories I've read, it's mostly male.
Males.
Yeah.
So it's like the women are still indoors,
They
having
go into
babies, maybe reproducing.
maybe.
And then too, we don't know
We don't know.
how long they stay pregnant and how many they
We
give
don't know their
birth to.
lifespan. We don't know a lot about them. We just know
Well, normally we know smaller creatures usually have what,
a
longer or
longer.
less. Is that based on the speed of
Their
the
heart.
heartbeat?
Their
Okay.
heart. But who knows, right? So some theories is that they are interdimensional beings.
Okay.
So that was something else. We already know they're non-human entities. They are believed to be ancient earth spirits. Some people suggest that they're parallel spirits that coexist in the same species. So back to saying like we categorize them as duendes, gnomes, like they intertwine with each other sometimes.
So we're just all describing them differently, but they're the same thing. Exactly. So gnomes, duendes, and goblins are literally the same thing, but all throughout the world, we've just been describing them differently.
Correct.
Based on maybe the situation. Like you said, they come on at night, so we really can't get a good visibility of what they may look like.
Correct.
And some of them may look ugly, some of them may look cute.
Yeah, and I think it also depends like their characteristics and personality.
Yeah, are they mean?
Different.
And some are nice.
Exactly,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because a lot of the time, some of them can be like they're very kind, some of them can be humble, but if you piss them off, they're gonna be pissed.
Now let me ask you something. This is going based off of folklore.
Folklore.
This is all folklore.
Different people, eyewitness accounts that have interacted.
So you're telling me real people have seen gnomes or have claimed to have seen a goblin, gnome, or a duende? Okay. I think you've even told me you have your own.
I have a duende story. Yes, I've never personally seen one. I have a family member that actually has.
Okay.
But I've experienced their prankster, trickster side of the duendes.
Okay, and how believable is this credibility in this family member that you have?
Yeah,
you believe in them?
Yeah, I believe in them.
Okay.
Which I'll tell the story in a little. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool, perfect.
So some of the things they like to, they can cause bad luck, unexplained fear. You can sometimes feel like you're being watched. Some of them can possess you.
Now, is that on purpose, or is that like if you do something to them, or is that just in them? Is that what they're going around doing?
I think it also depends on the type of duende you encounter.
Yeah.
That day.
They're vengeful.
It could be a vengeful one. It could be a playful one. It could be a happy one. It all depends. Just all like when you
woke up on the wrong side of the bed, maybe.
Yeah, but I think it also depends like us. You can be walking down the street. You can meet a very nice person. You can meet a very mean person. You can meet a very vengeful person. It all depends. We're all the same species, but we all have different personalities.
Yeah, and you can't just put them all in one group.
You
You can't just say
cannot.
all of them are mean and all of them are good.
You cannot.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
That's
So-
really like everything.
Yeah, so that's a quick overview of the duendes, gnomes, and goblins. I want to specifically now break them down into their own section so we can have a better idea of what each species or entity
Yeah,
looks
I
like.
want a better idea. So I know we have another case file image.
So this one specifically breaks down the duende, the goblin, and the gnome, right? What we do know already is that they're all earth beings, earth spirits. You know, they're guardians of nature. They're about 1 to 3 feet in height.
We actually have our own little guy here.
Isn't
He's
he so
about
cute?
he's about 1 foot, maybe less.
He's
and
on
he
the
stands
computer.
up, just like you.
Yeah. So common traits, you know, they have a deep connection with land, like I said. They're small humanoid beings. They're capable of kindness and mischief, depending on, you know, like you said, how they woke up that morning.
Yeah.
And they both deserve proper boundaries and respect. So let's go more into the duende first. So they are called the mischievous house spirits.
This little guy right here.
He's so cute.
You think he's cute?
I think he's so cute.
Mischievous house spirit.
So he's a quick overview, same thing. Duendes are typically beings from Latin American folklores. So that's what they call them in Latin America. So
And where's your story from?
from Nicaragua, so Latin America.
Yeah.
So
okay.
same thing, Mexico, Belize, Nicaragua, Chile, they're all going to call them most of the time duendes.
Yeah.
Right? They're playful yet mischievous in nature, right? So their physical appearance, like I said, they're 1 to 3 feet in height. They can have brown or tan skin. They have dark, large, soulful eyes, pointed ears. They're saying that their nose can be very small. They're not big noses.
Okay.
They have childlike faces, or they can be aged and wrinkled. So you can get 2 versions of them depending. And that goes back to...
What, if he's older, if he's young? And then to his age.
Yes, correct.
Well, how long do you think these little guys are living for? Hundreds of years or thousands?
It has to be thousands of years. It has to be. And then they're slender, and they're very quick, and they're very quiet. So they like, same thing like we said, they like to wear very rustic clothes, rustic colors, earth tones, the greens, the grays, the browns, typically.
I feel like they're like cavemen, little cavemen.
Little caveman. And typically they don't wear any types of shoes.
They go barefoot.
They go barefoot.
So they're always grounding. They like
They're
to
always
ground.
grounding.
Well,
they're earth
beings,
creatures. Yeah, so they,
makes sense.
They like respect, offerings, food, water, candy, coins, typical things. They like peaceful homes. That's a big one. In some regions, they also leave them tobacco. And I would assume, you know, the older ones might want some nice tobacco.
To smoke some tobacco?
Yeah.
It makes sense.
And they're very...
So why do we have so much in common with these little guys?
I would say, you know, we are earth beings as well.
So it's like they were here before us.
They were here before
us.
us.
For the human species.
Yeah. You know, we all share...
A Homo sapien.
Yeah. We share some characteristics with every single species here.
Yeah, somewhat, yeah.
On planet Earth.
Yeah. Darwin's theory.
Darwin's theory, correct.
Okay.
So I believe that it's the same with these creatures.
They go through Darwin's theory as well.
They go through Darwin's theory as well.
Yeah. And you think God created gnomes or goblins and...
Yeah.
Yeah?
We'd be fools to believe that we're the only species here.
Yeah.
Right?
Huh.
So, to make them happy and not to prevent any mischief, that's why people leave them offerings, typically.
Okay.
Right? So our next one he's a little bit scarier looking.
This guy is
He
scary.
scares me.
I do not want to come across this guy.
And he's a goblin.
I
So
think we're all familiar with goblins. I think we've all seen like Harry
Harry
Potter,
Potter,
you know,
Adobe, I don't know,
Lord of the
Lord of the
Rings.
Rings. Yeah, they're out there. They're in European folklore. They're cunning, clever, and they're cruel tricksters.
Which is the same across the board. Again, we just have a different image here of what he looks like.
Yeah. And then same thing, he's 2 feet in height. Same, he's actually different color, green, gray, or a little bit darker gray in color. His eyes are small and beady and yellow. Same thing, his nose is pointed, and his ears are long as well. His teeth are jagged, so he has sharp teeth.
I feel like us as humans would hunt these things down.
I mean, if you saw that chasing you down, what would you do?
Well, you would run back in town and then you would tell all your friends, hey, what I saw, and then go get our weapons and go back into the forest
but
and
you're
look
not
for
gonna
him.
find them. You're not gonna find them.
You never know.
So they're fast, they're agile, and they're sneaky.
Okay.
And they're very thin in stature. They don't like bright lights, loud noises. They actually don't like iron either, like the material,
substance, the metal?
substance iron.
Okay.
It's believed to repel them and harm them. Their kindness but you have to be cautious because they are mischievous and they don't like being outsmarted.
Huh.
So same thing, they like shiny objects, jewelry, coins, metals. They like hidden dark areas. They like playing tricks on you, and they like food. You know? Oh, this one's a little bit interesting because you know how duendes like tobacco offerings? They like beer. They like ale.
So it's like they like to get high. They like to mind-altering substances.
They like, I guess you can say that.
But even animals in the forest, like deers,
They do the
they
same
go
thing.
and they lick certain things and eat certain
Monkeys eat mushrooms too, which is
yeah.
very common.
And they'll go back and tell the other animals, hey, and take them to it, and they'll all eat it in a group, and it'll be a bunch of deers high as hell.
You're right. And then lastly, my favorite, the gnome.
He's your favorite,
cute.
the gnome?
I don't know why I think he's so cute.
The guardian of earth and nature. This guy's cool.
Yeah.
I feel like he's very wise.
He's very
He kind of looks like a little
wise.
Santa Claus, or like a little
He looks like Dumbledore, but with like a little version of him.
I feel like they're similar to elves.
They are.
Like Santa's helper.
Yeah, they are. So
I wonder if elves should have been in this category group.
elves is.
Elves would have to be their own case.
Yeah,
Because there's also
interesting.
cases where elves are tall.
Mm-hmm.
They're not short like
Exactly.
Santa's. So what's happening there? How does an elf get tall and then one is short?
That's a
So
case file
is
we would
there
have to
tall
open.
gnomes, goblins, or duendes?
No, they all range between the 1 to 3 feet in height.
So I feel like if an elf was to get tall, is because a
It-
little elf got with a human, slept with a human.
Maybe that's a case file we would definitely have to open next.
Yeah, most definitely.
So back to gnomes. They are called the guardian of earth and nature. They're protectors of nature, earth, and treasures beneath the ground. They are more reclusive. They're serious. They're more serious than duendes and goblins. Same thing. They're little. They're fair-skinned or earth tones. Their eyes are bright and wise. Their ears are slightly pointed. Their nose is rounded. Their features are older and wiser in appearance. So they have the beard, like they're wise for their age.
Yeah, no, they look like it.
And their movements are very deliberate and very steady. They know where they're going. They know what they want.
I feel like they're well put together.
Yeah. These are the only ones that actually wear boots too. They wear shoes and they carry materials. So like tools to mine around.
It's like they're hard workers.
They're
actually doing
workers.
something.
Yes. They're hard workers. They respect nature. They like clean water. They like clean soil. They like food. They like flowers. They like stones. They like minerals.
Now, what I see here about these offerings, they didn't get any beer or tobacco. It's
Nope.
milk.
They
There's
want
no.
nope.
It's very clean here.
Mm-hmm.
So now, what it seems to look like is, like you said, this is all the same character, just different personalities we're looking
Yeah,
at of the same character.
exactly.
And then they're naming them. Everybody around the world has different names for them: gnome, goblin, and duende. But we're still talking about the same thing, just different
Yeah. The
personalities.
only thing that I did find interesting is that we know, okay, duendes is from Latin American folklore, goblins are from European folklore, but gnomes is the only one that didn't, it came from different areas. Like you'll find a gnome in the US, you can find a gnome other
Well, again, like I
places.
said, we're talking about a personality here,
Mm-hmm.
and if we were to create a case file image on a human, I feel like there would be different images of what a human would look like, and what it would be just like this. There would be
Mm-hmm.
a human that would look like a goblin, but in reality, that's just a guy who, is upset with life. Nothing's going good for himself.
Yeah.
He's probably homeless, and he looks like that. Opposed to a gnome is a guy who has his stuff put together. He's eating healthy. He's focused on the right things.
He's a man that knows what he wants.
And a duende is kind of like a wanderer. He's just
Yeah.
wandering around. He's going based off of just with the earth and just going with the wind.
Yeah.
These are just different personality types of the same character.
Absolutely.
Whatever name you want to choose to name him, that's on you. You want to choose to call him a gnome, a goblin,
Hey, that's completely up to you.
yeah.
So, what's something that surprised you about learning more about each of these species, or I guess entities?
Their size, how small they are, because
Mhm.
I feel like we're so focused on looking up and into our phone. I feel like they'll be hard to see.
I mean, yeah, no one's really. You would have to be looking down and not at your phone. You
Yeah.
would have to be looking at the ground
And
the
then not only
entire
that,
time.
going into the forest. And
Yeah.
then who really goes into the forest nowadays for a walk? And then two, they're going into the ground, under the
Yeah.
trees, kind of like a bobcat.
Caves. Yeah.
I don't know if you ever seen how bobcats
Yes.
go
They
under the
burrow.
trees,
Yes.
and they nest under there. But kind of like that. So once they even hear us walking up, or they get a glimpse of us, they go run and they hide. So that's why we
Interesting.
never get to see them. Or do
Maybe.
they live in another dimension that we don't see them, and they transition back and forth?
Yeah. Maybe when they go into their cave, they go into a whole different dimension.
Yeah, the rabbit hole.
The rabbit hole, like Alice in Wonderland.
That's Wonderland.
That's Wonderland.
Huh.
Interesting.
So you're gonna show us some examples maybe of
Yes, most
of what
definitely.
we're dealing with here, because
First, I want to show you guys this
remember,
cool.
at the end of the day is to see if this is true and not just a folklore, and if what people are talking about is actually real. Me myself, I would love to go search for one of these, come in contact with it. I bet everybody else would. So that's what we're trying to find out if it's real or not, I guess.
Yeah, most definitely. So let me show you some cool information that I have.
And let me disconnect from here.
Awesome. So first, I wanted to showcase the Valley of the Gnomes.
The Valley of the Gnomes. What is this?
So Valley of the Gnomes was pretty cool. It's something that, as I was researching, I came across, and it's in Seattle, Washington.
Hmm.
And it's basically like a trail, and people leave little gnomes and gnome offerings.
That is so creepy.
All over.
It's creepy but cool.
So as you're going on your walk, you'll see little gnomes, you can see little mushrooms just everywhere.
It's like a gnome dimension.
It's like a gnome dimension. It's like they give them little homes
It's
to
like a
live
whole
in,
world of gnomes.
or like letting them know, like, hey, you're accepted here.
We gotta go to Seattle and drop one off.
Not this one though, because he's cute. Look how cool it is.
An Agent
Everywhere
A and Agent E gnome.
you guys will walk, you can
That's pretty cool.
So they're all over the place. Anywhere you're walking through the valley. So it's called the Valley of the Gnomes.
The Valley of the Gnomes in Seattle.
In Seattle. And it's cool because
Washington.
Yes, it started actually during COVID, and when everyone was outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was pretty cool because this one lady decided, like, oh, you know what would be cool to to leave an offering.
Also, this is new.
It's fairly
modern.
new, yes. And this lady thought it would be cool just to leave Earth an offering.
So in the past 6-7 years already, they've collected all these gnomes there.
Mm-hmm.
That is pretty
They're
cool.
everywhere, and I'm sure the pictures don't do it justice. But I thought it was really cool, just like a cool little fun fact to see that there are people that accept gnomes out there.
Yeah.
We have gnomies out there for sure.
There's definitely some gnome fans out there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we go to the craft store and there's a bunch of just like this, what we have.
Yeah.
You know, to
like,
paint and all that.
Yeah, like I'm personally a gnomie. I love gnomes. I don't know what it is about it.
I had tons of movies, shows.
I don't know if it's because of the experience I had with my gnome, but ever since then I've been obsessed with gnomes.
I can't wait.
You're giving me that face like, what?
I want to hear your story. What you said was your cousin's experience?
No, I had my own experience too.
Oh.
So my experience, I'll say it really quick since we're already here. My experience was really cool because I was probably around 6 or 7 years old, and something my grandma used to always tell me is like, oh, and they tell this to all the kids all the time in Latin America, like, don't wander off too far because the duendes will take you, or don't do this because the duendes will take you.
So that was a thing in town.
That was a thing. I'm pretty sure.
So all the kids in town knew, don't wander off because duendes might take me.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Right? And there were some cases of some kids that were taken by duendes.
So do you think this is just a thing where parents were using as a tactic to just get their kids not to wander off?
Maybe.
You know, kind of
Maybe.
like, you know, I think here we use
Like the boogeyman.
Yeah.
You know, or I guess that was our time. I don't know what it is now.
Yeah.
But in my particular story, I went to my grandpa's farm, and very similar to what duendes like. It's very rural. There's a lot of green. There's mountains. There's caves. There's waterfalls.
Caves?
Yes.
Holy moly.
So this particularly the farm sat on top of a hill, and on the side of the hill was where all the vegetables were planted, right? So my grandpa tells me, hey, here's a bag. I'm very obsessed with eating different types of fruit. I really like they're called, I don't know how to say it
Say it in
in
Spanish.
English. In Spanish, they're called ciruelas,
Okay.
right? And they're like these little green and yellow, red, they're really tiny. I don't even know how to explain it, but they're delicious. And he's like, go pick them out because I know you like them. Keep yourself entertained while I go get the vegetables, because they're gonna plan like a big dinner at night. So they were picking all the vegetables.
So they were harvesting.
They were harvesting. So I'm like, okay, me little Agent E.
Little Agent E.
Yeah, picking my little
Fruits and
ciruelas, and super excited. Like,
Okay.
yay, I'm by myself, and all of a sudden I'm by the tree, and the tree is pretty thick. I hear a rock being thrown, and there's nobody here but my grandpa, my older cousin that was helping my grandpa pick and harvest the vegetables, and me. There was nobody else allowed on our farm. It was our territory. Mind you, the lake or river is all the way at the bottom of the hill.
Okay.
There was a river, like a stream.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the hell? As a little girl, like, I see the rock and I'm just there like,
where'd that come from?
yeah, but I was like, okay, you're 6, 7, you don't really think about it.
Yeah, it was
I
nothing.
didn't think about it. And I'm just there like, okay, whatever. So I keep picking my little roots, and then again I hear kla, but I felt the wind of the rock
So it almost hit you.
hit the tree trunk, and I look down, and it was a river rock. They have a particular
Shape. Yeah.
shape. They're
Yeah.
long and
Smooth.
they're smooth.
Yeah. Use
So-
it for skipping in the
Mhm.
river.
So I'm there like, that's weird, right? And then I remember feeling like someone was staring at me.
And you say that's weird because you said the river's not around. The river's far.
Well, yeah, because we're at the top of the mountain, and the stream is all the way at the bottom of the mountain, at least a good 10-minute walk.
So for a rock to get all the way.
Yeah, and there's nobody around. Then I start hearing like little like little
Little
noises,
whispers.
like little whispers. And I remember feeling like all my hairs on my skin. I got chicken skin and goosebumps.
And this is at 6 years old, 7 years old.
Yeah, and it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. It was pretty
Yeah,
early.
early, but still like
Yeah,
the sun
I
coming up.
remember hearing that, and then I just dropped my little bag, and I start shaking because I was so scared and I didn't know what to do. And then again, another river rock comes and it hits the bottom of the tree. And I remember running. Sorry, I start crying my eyes out. I'm running. I'm like, Abuelo! And my grandpa was like, what happened? He thought like I got bit by a snake or, you
Yeah,
know,
worst case scenario.
worst case scenario, they always think it's some type of animal that kind of hunted you. I'm little.
Yeah, right.
They were never going to think it was a person because there was nobody there. So my grandpa was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? I'm like, oh, someone's throwing rocks at me. Someone's throwing rocks at me. And he looks at me like, rocks? So my older cousin goes in and investigates, and he brings the rocks back to my grandpa. He's like, they're river rocks. And he looks at me and he was like, no, come on, grab your stuff. Let's go. We're leaving. So we go back to the house, to my grandma's house.
It's like they know something.
They know something. And my grandma's like, oh, why are you guys back so early? Where are my vegetables? You know? And my grandpa tells my grandma, the duendes were trying to take the little girl. And my grandma's like, what do you mean? He's like, and she told the whole story. And my grandma's like, oh, but she asked me, did you see something? Did you hear something? And I told her what I heard and that they were like bothering me. And she goes, oh, but you didn't follow the whispers. And I was like, no, I didn't follow. I just started crying and I ran to grandpa.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, no, you did good. And my grandpa was like, no, yeah, they were trying to take her.
So you were about to get taken by little gnomes, little duendes.
And I think from then is when my duende obsession started, my gnome obsession. Maybe.
Not out of fear? Or out of just like curiosity?
I feel like I was so young that maybe I did see them, but I don't remember. I just remember like the traumatic experience of it.
Now, do you think they were trying to hit you with a rock?
I think
or
they were
just
trying to
get
play.
your attention?
Yeah, they were trying to get my attention.
And like lure you in.
They were trying to get my attention to lure me in.
Like, hey, over here.
Come over here, come with us. Because they like to, from what I've heard, is that they like to like take children and just to play with them. They don't.
And eat them.
Well, sometimes you get returned, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, exactly. Well, again, too, were you a good kid?
I was always a good kid. I was always a good kid.
Okay.
You know, and so I think they just wanted to generally play. Like, you don't really see children on the farm like that, especially girls. You usually see the boys on the farm, like the young boys helping harvest vegetables, you know, or bringing the cows or doing the chicken things. You never really see a girl on the farm. It's very, very rare.
So you think a duende was interested in
They're like, oh, this is a
girl?
little girl. Like, I've
Yeah.
never. What are the chances? Yeah, that's my duende story.
That's pretty scary.
It is very scary to think about it. Like, you know, you're a
And the
little
thing is, it's
kid.
very accurate. Like, we just described the three, and you're saying a
Excuse me.
duende, and it perfectly falls in line with what we just talked about.
Yeah.
You know, in the right area, the right setting,
The
right
right- yeah.
location. Being playful, I guess, interested in you. Mischievous, throwing rocks and stuff. But my thing is, I wonder once they got you, what they wanted to do with you, and how long they wanted to keep you, and would they let you back?
I don't know.
And so, did you ever know of any other little kids getting taken from at that age?
My uncle got taken by duendes.
But is he here with us, or
Yeah,
is he
yeah, he's
ever
alive. He's alive.
So he got given back.
Yeah, after like 5 days.
Oh, so he must have been annoying.
They're like, take this kid back.
Yeah,
Take
we
him.
don't want him.
Yeah, after 5 days, they returned him.
Shit. And so, what was his experience? What he says? So he describes it the same way. Like, was he
His was-
lured in?
He was lured in.
Okay.
He was lured in by like music and little kids laughing.
Now, when you say music, maybe like a flute or some shit, like little horns.
I would assume so, yeah. He says that he was lured in by little sounds, things, and you know, little kids, you're like, oh, and then so he went, he saw. His story was a little bit weird because he says that he saw little small people, but what he thought was weird was that their feet were inverted, so his left was his right and his right was left.
Whoa.
But I haven't heard anyone else ever say that. So I don't know if maybe it was just his like childlike imagination trying to accept the situation of what was happening, or if that's really something he saw.
Yeah, but how often are we just saying, mixing up, hey, let me just put this foot here and this foot over here? Even
Mm-hmm.
as a little kid, like I was always into drawing, and when I draw like characters or superheroes, never once did I ever think, man, let me put the foot over here and this foot over there.
Yeah. And he was lured, and he says that no, they
It's
just
like he's describing what he saw.
he says that he saw little people. They had long beards. He said they just played with him. They
And it's
gave
kind
him
of funny, like,
fruit.
that saying when people are dancing and you don't know how to dance, it's like you
Yeah,
have two
two
left
left
feet,
feet. Hey, maybe that's where it comes from.
you know?
And they returned him, but they returned him to like the opposite side of like where they found him. Like, so they had taken him from his parents' farm, right? And they returned him to like 5 miles
Somewhere
away,
else.
5 miles away to a neighbor's
Whoa.
yard. But like,
And
since
you
it's a
think that's through underground, through the trees and all that?
he says that he doesn't really remember much. Like, he remembers like a lot of green. He remembers like a lot of like trails like that he's never been
Yeah.
to. He remembers like water. He remembers them giving food, playing a lot, playing hide and seek. But he said when they gave him back, he was like obviously very dirty, like skinny, even though it had been 5 days. And he was like, "Oh, how long have I been gone, Mom?" And the mom's like, "Oh, you've been gone for like a few days." And he's like, "Oh, I felt like I was gone much longer."
Whoa.
So
Those are
I
two
don't
pretty
know.
crazy stories, and they pretty much align with each other.
Yeah,
And you're telling me this is happening normally in Nicaragua.
yeah.
That's pretty. We're gonna have to go take a visit.
See if you find any gnomes.
Yeah,
I
but it's
guess.
like I feel like you would have to use a little kid as bait,
Oh,
because
poor
they're not gonna
kid.
want nothing to do with us.
No, they don't really like adults.
We're not gonna take a niece or nephew, put a tire rope to him.
That's so messed up. That's so
We're
messed
going
up.
duende hunting.
But that's pretty much my duende story.
Try connecting again.
Oh,
That's a crazy story. So guys, leave your comments on what you think about Agent E's duende story, or if you have any stories similar to that. And
yes,
if
I
you're
would love to
from
hear it.
any Latin American countries, another thing, we submit a lot of our own personal stories through our Reddit, and again through all of our social medias. It's at the Pib Files, so follow us on Reddit. And we already dropped a few of our own personal stories, and it's gotten a lot of traction. I think one of our stories
Yeah.
got at least up to 14,000
Yeah.
impressions, another one 13,000. And we'll end up adding this one that you
Yeah,
just
the
talked
story.
about,
My crazy story.
and then you guys can go comment on Reddit your own personal stories to add to
Yeah,
it,
I
and we
would
could
love to hear
correlate.
if anyone has had any
Yeah, because we
crazy
could
duende
correlate. I
stories.
don't like when we just knock it off and say, "Oh, bullshit! Oh, that's fake." No, add to the story and your experience and mine, so we can
To
get down
see,
to the
yeah,
truth.
maybe there's similarities because there's a lot of duende stories that have a lot of
You
similarities.
just gave yourself and your uncles, and they were both
Pretty
similar.
spot on, yeah.
Yeah, it's just he actually got taken, and you
Thank
didn't.
goodness I didn't get taken.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Okay, so the
All right, what's next?
what I wanted to discuss was a gnome that was actually found and captured. Oh, let me press pause to give you guys some back.
So this is a real gnome that was captured, is what you're saying?
So this video, I saw it on Paranormal Encounters, and there's a lot of different gnome ones, but this one was one of the more creepier ones, and it's a gentleman and his family from Phoenix, Arizona, and they actually captured a small humanoid going in and out of their garden.
Whoa. Now, one thing, you already say Phoenix, Arizona. I've been to Phoenix, Arizona. Desert, right? And when I hear desert, I think of caverns, caves, So that already is putting me on the believable side. Investigators, put your spectacles on. Let's check this out.
All right, let's see. No.
Garden gnome in Phoenix, Arizona.
It's the real thing.
Want to put it wide?
Go see what it is.
Full. Case ID Gnome Alone. Whoa. There's actually a movie called Gnome Alone.
2017 in Phoenix, Arizona. After noticing items missing from his porch, Joshua Taylor is having his friend Alex install a security camera that will monitor the area. And right after turning on the camera, for the very first time, they see this. Watch closely, as what appears to be a small humanoid figure
Oh yeah, it's like a little person.
moves around in Joshua's garden.
Go see what it is.
And it gets even weirder.
Look, that's his face.
Watch again, as the figure seems to have some kind of glow emanating from where its eyes would be.
Whoa, it's like he's got goggles
Joshua
on.
and Alex are totally freaked out.
Why don't you go see him? Like, open the door.
Somehow, Joshua manages to convince Alex to go outside and check it out. As Joshua stays inside and films the monitor. Moments later, Alex appears outside, just a few feet from where the bizarre figure is.
It's like they're both still there.
And
Oh wait,
incredibly,
he disappeared.
he seems to see nothing.
Now pause that right there.
Somehow,
Because I was right about to ask you, how do we know that that's actually a small person, not a big person, if there's no other size reference? But the fact that he just walked out of there while the video was still going, and you can see he walked exactly where the gnome was standing at. That gnome would be maybe up to his kneecap,
Yeah,
right?
like 2 to 3 feet, right?
2 to 3 feet, you know? And then again, the way he disappeared, and it's like he didn't see him. He didn't see the gnome, but the gnome saw him. And
Mhm.
again, it's like we're talking an interdimensional being.
Yeah. I would say I don't think it's a gnome, and I think it's a goblin what he saw, because
Now again, I thought the three were the same
yes,
character.
yes, but
So
just
when you say goblin, why you say goblin?
I would say goblin because of he had yellow eyes, and that's one of the characteristics of a goblin. They have bright yellow eyes.
Now, in my investigation, I'm
Mhm.
gonna say it now, but I'll show you. We'll pull it up later. But there's a movie about these gnomes, and the gnomes are kind of like secret agents, and they're doing
Aw,
agent stuff
that's
using
cute.
night vision goggles. Okay,
Okay.
so if these gnomes, if they've been around for hundreds of thousands of years, they have to be advanced
Yeah.
and have their own somewhat type of technology. And if he's coming into a garden, he's looking for something. And if he's looking for something, he's gonna come looking, like I told our investigators to put your spectacles on, is like he has his own little spectacles looking for, or if he's looking at the fruits and vegetables with these goggles that are telling him, that's analyzing the fruits and vegetables and telling him what it
Yeah.
is. Tomatoes, you know,
I think
peppers.
these are specifically sunflowers, to be honest, too.
Well, I think it's corn. I think
Mm.
it's a cornfield.
Well, yeah, I thought this video was pretty cool.
Is there more to it?
It's more like the
Just him
guy,
describing it?
describing his interaction.
Man, that's pretty spot on. I like that one.
That one was really cool because it gives you, like you said, that perspective of someone seeing through video camera a gnome and then going outside and be like, hey, it's not here, and that height gap as well.
I want to point something out as well. Scroll down. This is posted by a page, Joshua Taylor, with 5 subscribers and 8 likes, and only got less than 700 views 3 years ago. This is not a popular video. Okay, this is not a video that's going viral. The video doesn't look edited, and I don't know how he would be able to make the entity disappear with any type of like effects.
Yeah.
While the dad going out and walking at the same time.
Pretty crazy, right?
This is a pretty good non-popular video.
Mm-hmm.
I like this one.
It was really good.
Yeah,
When
so
I saw
good.
it, I was like, it's definitely something that has that shows us
Almost proof.
a proof.
Almost concrete
Almost.
proof. Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's kind of grainy,
No,
but
because again, we talk about aliens and UFOs, UAPs, and remember, UFO and UAP, that's unidentified aerial phenomenon.
hmm
Remember, we're trying to identify it. This is almost identifiable to the case
yeah,
that we're talking about.
absolutely. So piggybacking on what you're saying, there's also another case that is very, very popular that is an encounter, same thing, on a field with a this one was a gnome or goblin, and it was in Kentucky.
Okay, when you say field, you mean farm?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's called the Kelly Hopkinsville Encounter. And it's basically about this family that they claim to have a close encounter with an extraterrestrial being. They're not sure if it was actually a UFO or an actual goblin, right? It happened a very long time ago on top of that. So there wasn't a lot of information on UFOs or goblins or gnomes. It happened in 1955. But essentially, this is what they saw.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What the heck is that? Can you
So,
click on that image? Yeah, that.
and if you look at the height difference, it's almost like
Oh,
what we
like we
saw
saw
in
to
the
his
video.
little past his knee, past his. But too, he has, like and like you said, you called it a goblin.
hmm
And this has the body shape of what I would call a goblin. The head and the body, the upper body is bigger than the lower
Yes.
body. The gnome looks just like a human,
Yeah.
just full, regular from
Yeah,
top to
yeah.
bottom. And again, you said with the orange eyes. Oh, those are his eyes separated.
Yes,
That's
that's
just
why
now.
I had said in the other video I thought it was a goblin because it had the yellow eyes as well. And they all have the same characteristics of the pointy ears. But like I said, this happened a very long time ago
Okay.
in 1955, so they weren't sure if it was an alien, a goblin, or even a owl. So that was really one of the more famous cases that I saw.
Now, exit out of that image, or you know what, go to the next one because I want to see the owl. They put the owl next to it. Yeah, because I was gonna say it. Now that I think about an owl, and you're talking nighttime, somebody could get that confused and just get scared and be like, "Oh my god," because they've never seen one. And at night, I'm pretty sure the eyes glow.
Yes, but specifically the great horned owl is almost 2 to 3 feet in height.
It's pretty big.
They're very big owls.
So let me ask you: you think she saw an owl or a goblin? This one sounds like an owl.
Yeah, I can say probably it's an owl.
And I think an owl that big doesn't really show fear. This owl, he's a predator. He's not prey, so he's not running.
No.
You know, so again, when she saw it, it's not like this thing is just gonna fly off. I guess it kind of just stood there and stood its ground and stared at her back, and that's probably what gave her that fear of like, oh my god,
for sure.
you know, it's standing up to me.
So that was one of the more famous goblin encounters that I was able to find.
Let me ask you, before you continue, can you Google Cat's Eye by Stephen King? I know you like to read a lot of his books. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this movie, probably.
Of course.
Yeah, maybe go to images. Maybe they could show the little.
Love this movie.
Maybe you put Goblin next to it or Duende. I know I see him. He's in that picture right there. Yeah.
Ew.
Now, what would you call that? Would you call that a Duende? Or a Goblin? And he was tiny. He was probably like 1 foot.
I would say it's more of a goblin.
And he carried a little knife. And the clothing was just like how you describe it. The greens, the browns, very earth tones. And he was kind of like a little Robin Hood looking. And you can see he has a little jester hat. And him having like a jester hat is a prankster. Trickster. Yeah, like a little trickster. You know, and you can see him with a little knife there. But the reason why I want to bring it up, this reminds me of the video you showed me. This is like what it looks like in that garden.
Yeah,
possibly.
it maybe. Yeah, you might be spot on there.
Stephen King, he's onto something with his
with
with
his
his stories,
books,
and
his
yes,
shows, his movies.
yeah,
Yeah,
whether you agree with him or not politically,
that's all
his
different thing.
books and his stories are pretty spot on,
For
you know,
sure.
and we can't deny that at all.
So, as we talked about duendes going back, years, like this story, if it was a great horned owl or a duende or a UFO, whatever, it happened in 1955. But duendes have been, goblins, gnomes, they have been actually reported as far back as Native American times. So the Mayans, the Aztecs, they also had their own version of it.
Experience. Did they call it something else?
They did. They called it Aluxes. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. So
Aluxes?
yeah, so they're mischievous little people of Mayan mythology. See? And they kind of look like that image in the video that we just saw from Arizona.
Yeah,
Look.
yeah, little like a little goblin critter again.
So, same thing. They are small human-like creatures that cause chaos wherever they go. They're called goblins or golems. Some of them call them elves, like you were just saying, and some of them even call them poltergeists. And in Mexico, the Mayan legend about little people has been passed down for centuries. This legend of the Alux is a kind of spiritual little person that causes mayhem, mischief, and destruction wherever it goes.
Man.
So it goes back to what you were asking. How long have they been around?
Yeah, they've been here before us, I'm pretty sure. And then, like I said, if they've been around that long and are still here,
yeah,
they must be advanced in their own way.
Yeah, and the same thing, they're very mischievous. They like to play. They like natural areas like jungles, forests, caves. They like stones. Very, very similar to what we have heard in modern day stories.
They really have to be connected and in tune with the earth and know how the earth works.
Yeah, let me just get out this page
do.
because it's acting dumb. So it goes back to definitely something that we have spoken about. They've been around a very, very, very long time. It sounds like, especially if we're talking about Aztec and Mayan times, that they had their own version of what they said were this humanoid. So another old version that I found was a domovoy.
A domovoy?
So
I've never heard of a domovoy before.
So this is a domovoy, and they are from...
That looks like a gnome.
Just to give you a little
picture. And what region are they calling this a domovoy?
So the domovoys are actually pretty cool because they come from Russia. They come from Slavic.
Also, the Slavic people are calling them domovoys.
Yes. So it depends, right? They come from ancient traditions of ancestor worship, the domovoys, and some people say they're manifestations from past deceased family members that go into this little spirit gnome.
I hate to cut you off, but you see that image with it sitting with the cat?
Yeah.
It just showed you cat's eye. What is it with the cat and the gnome and the little people?
I don't know.
The cat's like the little people?
So I have a story too about a domovoy.
A personal story?
A personal story.
Okay.
So, but let me explain more of what a domovoy is, right? So, same thing, like we just spoke about goblins and, all these humanoids that we're speaking about. They're small, they're elderly men with long beards. They, same thing, thick hair. They wear like very earthly clothes. We're talking about basically the same thing. The only difference here is that they're household species. They like to live inside of a house, right? So you have, in traditional homes, they dwell under the kitchen stove, near the front door.
That was cat's eye. That was just like that.
So they're guardians of diseases, fire, so nothing bad comes into your home and that you have a nice
So
and
you're telling me
prosperous
this thing is
home.
living in the walls
They're guardians.
or in the attic or
Yeah,
in the basement?
they're guardians of your home. So they're supposed to, make sure you have a happy, healthy home. They make sure your animals are happy. They watch over the kids.
This is his way of paying rent.
This is his way of paying rent. But on the flip side, he doesn't like when the house is dirty. He doesn't like when family members are lazy. He doesn't like abuse. He doesn't like foul language. He becomes angry
What?
when this happens, right?
Okay.
So he starts behaving like a poltergeist, knocking on walls, breaking dishes, not hurting the animals, but playing tricks on animals
And scaring them.
Right? And sometimes some people say that even sleep paralysis can happen.
Man, why do I feel like I've experienced this before?
So most people will have this in their home in Slavics and regions like, in Russia.
What the?
So this is a Domovoi statue. My story
is of this thing?
Is of this thing. Right? So
now, how do you know the difference from the other story you told me in this? A duende and a domovoi.
So a duende lives outside.
Oh, and the domovoi is living in your house.
He protects your house. He is the master protector guardian of your house.
Now again, like I said in the beginning, it's still the same character. We're just looking at different personalities.
Yes. He's like an angry old man that like good family traditions.
Some people want to live outside.
Yeah, you're right.
There's a millionaire he's a millionaire, but he chooses to be homeless. And every day he's out in the street and he pays his meals and does his thing, but he chooses to live that way. So like I said, I feel like these are just personality traits, and their personality traits show in their image. They reflect in with their clothing and their style and possibly in their
you're
looks.
Absolutely right. So my story about a domovoi actually happened with one of my friends. I have a very close friend, and she was okay with me speaking about this story. And she has this little statue right here, the first one.
The first one?
The first one.
Wooden like that, a little brown one?
A little brown one.
So now, is she Russian? Is she Slavic?
She is not Russian. She's actually Colombian.
So where does this come from?
So it came from, she lives with her brother and the brother's wife. So that's 3 adults in the house. And she has 2 dogs. Her brother has 1 dog, and they have a cat. They have
3 animals.
4 with the cat.
Oh, 4 animals. Excuse me.
This is important for this story.
No, yeah, most definitely.
So the brother is the main provider of the household.
Okay.
And he is in import-export businesses, and he travels a lot overseas.
Okay.
And one of his clients gifted him
a
domovoi statue. And because they were about to move into a bigger house because his sister moved in with him, right? Which is my friend. So he brings it back and he puts it at the front door. And his client told him, make sure you leave him offerings. He likes pastries. He likes candy. He likes sweets. That's what they're into. And make sure that basically everything I just said, that you guys aren't arguing, that you guys are living in a peaceful home, because he can get angry.
Now let me stop you there, because I grew up with a religious background, and I already know how people are going to react. It sounds like a demon.
It can be. Some people say they think that domovois are demons.
It sounds like a demon.
Yeah.
You're making it offerings. He's giving you something in return. He's interdimensional. He's in spirit form. He's very mischievous. He's doing things, and if he gets mad, and the thing is, a lot of religious people, not as a target or anything, but they call everything demons, even though there's so many different species of and entities of these things. They're all demons.
Yeah. Some people can say that this is a very ancient spirit that dwells in your home, and Some people can think it's a
And
bad
people
demon.
invite them in, because I was gonna ask you
Yes,
too.
people
You,
invite
when you
them
when you
in.
first told me they're living in people's home, I'm like, voluntarily? Like,
Voluntarily.
it's like, hey, come here, you need somewhere to stay? Come on,
got
buddy.
you.
You know?
So
Or is he just sneaking his way in and you don't even know about it, and he's living in your walls now, and your food is missing?
so whatever, they put the Domo Boy statue by the front door. They decided, and they made it a little home, like a little tent, and they put him in there.
That's a lot.
Listen to this, it gets crazier.
That's a lot.
So I remember the first time I went over to my friend's house, I was like, I'm there looking at it like, you got a little weird gnome sitting there, and I like gnomes. So I was like,
you already knew off the bat.
and I was like, what's going on here? Because okay, you can have a garden gnome, I completely understand that.
But he's in the house.
I'm like, what's he doing in the house? But
This guy here.
But what I found very interesting during the times I would go over every time, the cat was obsessed with the statue. He would go up to the statue and like put his body against it. And
now, let me ask you, these little ones, they look very small. They were handheld in the picture.
yeah, they're very small. They're like,
Oh, like that?
yeah, like 2 feet.
Oh,
Is that 2 feet?
I was thinking inside the palm.
No,
like that.
they're statues.
Oh,
they're
they're
like
big.
a little bit bigger than this.
And they stand up.
They stand up. They're statues.
Oh, okay.
And
So
the cat was a pretty big cat.
Yeah, and the cat would
And the
roll
cat
around.
would go and press his body against it and purr. And just like purr.
Cats know. And again, it's in the eye. And the cat
The
sees
cat
it.
loved this thing. So the family members in the household would leave candy, little candy,
Yeah,
for the
little butterscotch.
yeah, like little wrappers, the ones your grandma will give you to when you go to church, like that. The weird part is that, and I experienced this one, there was wrappers around the house.
When you say wrappers, like already
Candy
eaten
wrappers around, like when you have a kid and he's eating candy, he'll just throw the wrapper on the floor, but there's
Now,
no kids here.
There's no kids.
There's no kids, it's all adults and dogs. The brother is constantly working. He travels all over. The sister-in-law, she does her own thing.
All right.
And my friend does her own thing.
All right. I'm going to play devil's
Let's
advocate.
do it.
Are the dogs eating the candy?
No.
Are the animals eating the candy?
They couldn't reach it.
I would say they would eat the whole wrapping.
They would eat the whole wrapping.
But there's some animals that would put a paw down
Nope.
on the wrapping.
Dogs
and
are
just...
savages.
No, there's some smart dogs.
they
They're
are.
smart dogs.
So they would find
Just empty wrappings. Well, now let me ask you too. If there's empty wrappings, that means there would have to be missing candy from where they left it too.
There was missing candy. And I remember telling my friend, I'm like, bro, what's going on here? And she told me the story about this, and I'm there like, that's very weird.
I like the story, right? It's a lot. They gave it a lot of offerings. They did a lot. It sounds like they brought it to life because of how much they gave to it.
Yeah.
Right. The cat is showing signs that
Yeah.
the thing is alive. Right.
Mhm.
And again, to be devil's advocate again, it depends to how much guests they're having over, and then the guest comes into the door, they're grabbing a candy, eating it,
nope.
and then
No
leaving it
guest.
somewhere on the couch.
No guests. I would say barely any guests come over.
Guys, we're walking you through the process of your investigation. I'm gonna ask the questions I want to know, just as bad as you guys.
So, they would leave the statue offerings, pastries too, and you would find nibbles on the pastries.
Whoa.
And I would tell my friend, bro, stop fucking with me.
Yo,
Stop fucking with me. This
somebody
isn't real.
somebody who's 1 foot
Little-
big taking a little bite. That's like a little kid bite going.
Yeah.
"Yum."
Yep. And
That's crazy.
I would tell my friend, yo, you need to stop fucking with me because this is not true. Like, stop. She's like, no, I swear. She goes, I don't even like the thing. I'm scared of it. She says, he freaks me out. I don't like staring at him. I don't like looking at him. I don't like him.
No, okay, finish the story.
Okay. So, they have 3 dogs. Dogs are dogs. But one of the dogs was a beagle.
Okay. Wait,
Beagles are
what? Hound
very
dogs.
hyperactive, They are very crazy. They're nice, sweet dogs, but they're hyper and they're whiners.
Okay.
The dogs did not like the statue.
The dogs are not spiritual.
The dogs would see the statue and they'd be like, nope, other way. But this beagle, being a boy,
Well, they know what to stay away from.
the boy, beagle, went and pissed on it
I was
one
just
day.
about to say that. No, he didn't.
He peed on it.
Oh, man. Okay.
One time, nothing happened. But then what do dogs do when they pee
We'll
one place?
constantly pee on it. Yeah. Our dog would do that. He had a spot. He just always...
He went and a second time, peed on the statue again. And I remember it clearly. Me and my friend are coming back from, we were out to dinner and we were gonna switch cars, and she's like, oh, let me go in and feed the dogs really quick. We're parking the car, and from outside we hear, if anyone has a beagle, howling of the beagle. Oh! And we're like, she's like, what the hell is going on? Because the dogs had free access to the house. Like, they can go anywhere they wanted.
Okay.
When we went inside, the beagle was locked in a bathroom in her brother's room. The bedroom door was locked and the bathroom door was locked, and there was nobody home.
So they locked the beagle up in the bathroom, and the beagle was howling. So it's like somebody put him in timeout in punishment. He's like, hey, get your ass in there. You pissed on me.
And both of us, me and her, got freaked out because she had like a Ring camera too on her door. And
like
we
nothing.
saw the sister-in-law leave like in the afternoon, and we got back like at 6 p.m. So 6 hours of no one coming into the house. How did the beagle lock himself in the bathroom and then lock the bedroom door?
Now, when you say lock, you mean like lock or just the door closed?
I can accept if it's just the door closed in the bathroom.
Okay.
But 2 doors?
Depending on which direction it swings.
I don't know. But ever since that happened to the beagle, he never pissed on the statue again.
Because if the dog gets behind the door and he starts to close the door, he can trap himself in the room and close
Maybe.
the door, and he'll
You're
trap
right.
himself. But like you said, 2 doors. But when you say 2 doors, that's why I said depends on which way the doors are swinging, and is he
And they're
trapping
far
his
away.
door?
They were far away from each
It's
other.
like he did this one first, and he accidentally closed that one, and then he was sneaking over here, got in this one, went in behind the door, and then he trapped himself in that room.
But since then, the beagle never messed with the statue, never went near it, never pissed on it, never nothing with it.
It's like he learned his lesson.
It learned its lesson.
Okay. So right there, guys, you saw back and forth. You can make your own decision.
Assumptions.
Yeah, your own
for sure.
assumptions on that one, right? But that's a good story. I like that one too, because it showed that the entity got mad, because the dog was pissing on him, but he did like the offerings, and it was like an agreement, but he won't tolerate
Disrespect.
And it's like you said, that was on our case file image. They don't tolerate disrespect.
Yeah. And they like animals. They're not gonna hurt that animal, but it's like, you're not gonna keep pissing on me.
Yeah, and so
at my house.
that story showed signs of what we're discussing.
Isn't that crazy though? I was like, when I saw after that and she told me that story and we were like there together, I was like, Mr. Gnome,
we're good.
we're good.
I'm on your side. Whatever you need, let me know.
And it was crazy to see the cat, how the cat would just like go up on the gnome and like love on it.
Yeah.
It would like even like get on its back and go like this, and cats don't really do that unless they really like the person or whatever it is.
That's a good one.
Crazy. So
what else you got for me?
So talking about then, duendes, we went into details of what a duende is,
The Dumbo Boy.
the Dumbo Boys, how duendes look like.
We showed the comparison.
We showed the comparison.
We showed some real footage. You gave personal accounts, almost 3
Yeah,
already personal accounts. You got to remember them because we got to add them to Reddit, each and every one of those.
For sure.
I'll pretty much remind you when we go back through the footage.
So, in old Spanish origins, they're called the owner of the house. We go back
You just showed that example.
They're tricksters. They like to hide keys, break objects. They make unexplainable noises. Go back, to Central American, Mexican culture. They've been guardians of the forest for centuries. We know all that, right? So as I was investigating, I was like, I have my own personal duende stories, which I'm pretty sure a lot of other people have their personal duende stories. But one that really caught my eye was one that everyone knew about.
When you say everyone, which is?
Do you remember a few years ago, the 4 kids that got lost in the Colombian Amazon?
The 4 kids that got lost in the Colombian Amazon. And there was a baby.
There was a baby.
There was a baby, and they were all young.
Yes.
There was only maybe
That's-
one kid that was older. She was a girl. She was probably the oldest. Is this what you're showing us now?
So what I'm showing you guys now, right? And
Is there an image?
this is just the image of the little girl when she was found. Right?
Oh, that's the baby.
Yeah.
And you said out of the 4 kids.
So they survived a plane crash in the Amazon jungle.
Okay.
Their family died, their mom died, and the oldest girl that she was about, I want to say 13,
Yeah.
she took care of her 4 younger siblings, right? But what I thought was very interesting was you have 4 kids who were rescued from the Colombian Amazon
Mm-hmm.
after being there for 40 days. People looked for them day in and day out. The government, the army, the police, no one can find traces of them.
Not even the plane crash?
They found the plane crash,
But the
but
kids weren't around.
no.
Okay,
kids
they
were
were
not.
gone.
They were gone. They would find maybe a little shoe or a little bottle.
But again, did that belong to them or the other people who were on the plane?
I guess.
How many passengers were on the plane in total?
It was.
Does it say that?
No, it doesn't say it in this story.
But their parents died in
the
that
mom
accident,
died,
and the 4 of them survived.
Yeah, they were traveling with their mom.
Were they the only survivors on this
I
plane?
believe so.
Wow. Okay.
So the 13-year-old, she was able to help and she played a vital role in keeping her siblings alive, even a baby that had just turned 1 year old.
A 1-year-old baby
Mm-hmm.
without his mom and dad now.
It was very, very, very crazy story, but it makes you wonder,
Where'd they go?
where did they go? How did this happen? How were they able to survive the Amazon
Even
with
that plane
snakes,
crash.
mosquitoes, plane crashes, right? And being so young.
The Amazon jungle, guys. Just remember the Amazon. Okay.
So, one of the things that I thought was very interesting about this story was that we talked about everyone had a huge effort to find these kids and find them alive.
Mm-hmm.
But there's rumors that say that they were being carried through the jungle by a duende, by a leprechaun creature that's said to roam the forest. And the young girl says she told her grandma this information.
So this is information coming from the 13-year-old
The
girl to the
13-year-old
grandma
girl. Mm-hmm.
that a duende or a leprechaun-like creature took them from where the plane crash was at and took them far away?
Yep. And was able to help them through finding fruit, finding what she already had some knowledge of, what fruits you can eat and you can't eat. But how do you survive with a baby? And this leprechaun helped them and guided them through the forest. So and I thought it was really, so here's another picture of them, right?
That is insane.
It's very crazy because they heard crazy things happening. But what I thought it was even crazier about this story was the way they were brought back to how they were found.
Okay. And where were they found?
They were found there in the Amazon, still in the Amazon.
Yeah, but how far of a
Pretty
distance
far
from
in.
the plane? Okay.
Pretty far and far from the plane.
Okay.
They had to bring in a shaman.
To do what?
And the shaman did rituals to try to connect with the land, and for the land to lead them to the children.
And that's how they found them?
That's how they found
The
them.
shaman led the rescue, the search team
Yep.
to the kids in the Amazon jungle.
Yep. So he did different rituals. He prepared himself through
He spoke to the spirits.
ayahuasca, and he was able to contact the spirits and bring them back.
That is an insane. I'm trying to play devil's advocate because remember, guys, I'm the skeptic here. Right? I'm normally the skeptic. I'm a hard believer. It's really hard to get me to believe in something, you know. I'm not one of those people where I gotta see it to believe it. You know, you can tell me a story like this, and with enough evidence, with enough proof, you can get me to at least 80%, at least, to believe it. But why would a 13-year-old girl? The thing is, when you already say plane crash and they survived, I would think as that 13-year-old kid, I would stay there and scavenge the rest of the plane and look for,
Absolutely.
goods and stuff like this is the best place to look. And if anybody is gonna come in search of us, we can just stay here because they're gonna be looking for that plane, right? That's the way I'm thinking. So that's why I'm like, why would they just leave? You know? And again, you said there's a rescue team. They came and they found the plane, but now there was no kids, right? Now there's a rescue search for the kids. Can't find them nowhere. Now, wait, what made them get in contact with a shaman? Who came up with that idea?
So there's been...
Or they've already just used everything in their arsenal.
They've used everything in their arsenal, and they needed someone that really understood
the land.
And the Amazon is its own land.
It's its own animal.
It's an own animal. So they were able to find like an indigenous search team that they do this.
An indigenous search team. And they knew exactly what to do.
Yeah, they knew exactly what to do. So that morning, before they found the kids, they did ayahuasca, a traditional jungle medicine with psychedelic properties. If those don't know what ayahuasca is. And the indigenous guardian took the potion, I guess you can call it. It's a drink. And used some of the army's technology and their resources to
help navigate.
And he talks about when he was in this trance, he became different people. He felt like he was a doctor, then he was a panther going through the Amazon.
Whoa.
And then he was a
He's
tiger.
like turned into his spirit animals.
He turned into a tiger and then a puma.
And he would use these animals to search the jungle for these kids?
And because of that, he was able to find the kids.
Scroll all the way up. That was the end of it?
Yeah.
Let me see. Scroll.
There's actually a Netflix
There's a Netflix documentary?
Yeah, but I don't know how much they go into detail
about all that.
Yeah, and the duendes.
But
and
this
things
article
like that.
talked about it.
Yeah, this article talked about it in specific.
And this is the Guardian.
Right here, Fatima Valencia's, the grandmother of the 4 children rescued on Friday after 40 days alone in the Colombian Amazon, had a simple explanation for why they had taken so long to be found despite a huge search effort. They were being carried through the jungle by a duende.
Simple answer. They were being carried. All right.
But, you know, there's reasons that a lot of people, especially that are very connected to the land, believe these things, right?
They experienced.
They've experienced.
And not only that, their ancestors, and then not only that, the stories told from their ancestors from one to another, they already know what to expect and what to do under these circumstances. You just said they called an indigenous search team, and they knew exactly what to do, and they found the kids when nobody else could.
the government couldn't, the army couldn't, the police couldn't. They were searching for them forever, and they couldn't find these kids no matter what they did. And then this indigenous tribe with this indigenous search team, they were able to find them within, like, I want to say 2 to 3 days.
We're gonna have to watch that documentary. We're gonna have to fact check this, and I want to see how credible the Guardian is with their stories. And you guys let us know too what you guys think about the story, and is this article actually credible, and what do you guys think about it? That was pretty crazy.
I thought that was a pretty crazy story because everyone was very invested in finding these children.
Another thing too I wanted to point out, if this story is true, back to what I said about, religious people will automatically just call this something, oh, demons, whether this was a demon or not, this demon saved 4 kids, strayed them away from the airplane wreckage, and I guess gave them whatever they needed to survive how many days they're out there.
They ate 40 days.
40 days. And if you want to take that number as any significance, 40 days, 40 nights, as anything to add to it, or if I'm reaching, but
no, but also thinking about this happened in May. It's hot outside in May.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of trees, so there's a lot of shade.
The humidity in the rainforest is no joke.
My thing is, like you said, 40 days is insane. And how does a 13-year-old with a 1-year-old and 2 other kids know how to survive for 40 days? What knowledge. To eat, what plants not to touch, what berries and fruit not to consume. Like, you don't know what's poisonous.
Yeah.
And then again, how'd you not get eaten by none of the animals? No snakes, no panthers. You just said the shaman turned into a panther and looked through the eyes of a panther. That means the panthers are out there. Why didn't the panthers want to eat the 1-year-old?
Yeah.
And you're telling me in the 40 days out there, the baby didn't cry? Because that's one of the biggest things too. Us as humans, we give birth to a baby, and this baby is an infant for so long and needs all these resources from the parents for so long that if we were out in the wilderness, in the wild, this baby will be crying in the forest and attract every predator known to man.
You're right.
Gorilla, lion, every big cat will be dead.
Yeah.
So again, for 40 days, how
crazy.
I
thought that was one of the craziest, more known stories, and I was like, to say that a duende was the reason that they survived and that it was taken was pretty interesting to me, right? So it made me think about, why do duendes specifically take kids? And my grandma used to tell me all the time, the duendes, don't go do this because the duendes are going to take you, right? So in folklores, duendes take kids or children because they're innocent souls, their desire for playmates, or to punish disobedience, right? So this is very common across Latin America, Iberian cultures, and Filipino cultures. So it can be because they're lonely, they want to play, they want to attract innocence. So some of them are not nice duendes, so they like to steal babies and feed on their innocent energy, or to swap them with channeling.
So are you gonna tell me that's what that duende was trying to do?
Maybe.
Because again, when the shaman and them found them, did they stop what was about to happen?
Maybe.
But
then also they're
because we don't know if this duende was actually being good and helping them.
Yes.
They just found the opportunity, like, hey, they're alive there, I'm gonna get them.
But in the other flip side of the coin, it says that duendes act fiercely as protective entities. They are drawn to children who are being mistreated or ignored by their parents. And
they just had their parents lost, so they came to help them in need. Man, there's so much ways you can look at it, And the people are gonna debate, oh, good, evil, That's a tough one. How do you determine that?
And then other one is just trickery, where they lead children into the jungle just to make them lost.
And I think that's why I don't know if you remember the Catholic Church who got exalted from his position.
The archbishop.
Yeah, the archbishop. in the Catholic Church.
Of Washington, I
He
think it
lost his
was.
position,
Yeah.
right? Because he came out and he called aliens demons. And I started to think about it and do my research, and one, the Catholic Church is not even supposed to speak on aliens. That's
Mhm.
one that's literally in the rules. They're not supposed to speak on that. But like we spoke about it, and you said the fact that he even called, like, labeled aliens demons in the first place, you're already demonizing them. You're
Yeah.
already putting the word demon on them. But what if the alien goes and does something good like this and
Mhm.
saves 4 kids and assists them and gives them everything they need for 40 days? Do you still call that creature a demon?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. You can't allow this one bishop to now give the answers to the whole world and just now, oh, they're all demons.
Yeah, most definitely, which I think is very, very crazy. Just to kind of go through this as as quickly as possible, I wanted to talk about there's different places, different rural areas that actually are called like duende caves, duende grottos. So it makes me back to that assumption you said. How long have they been here? Where are they staying? Where are they going? And some of the more famous ones are in um Mexico, and I want to say Belize. So let me show you guys how cool this is. So this is called Duende Canyon, and this one is in Bolivia. And look how cool it is. So,
Canyon de Duende.
mhm.
Yeah, why would they name it Canyon de Duende?
I think it's because they have. You look at you see those little like slits on in the caves. Like if they can just go in there and
A
just like
duende, like so it
yeah,
fits a small person.
yeah.
So they're trying to say like the crevices for small people
Mhm.
is really what they're trying to say.
Yeah, and then the other one that I thought was really cool was this one. And this one's called the Duende Grotto, if just
Gruta de
the Duende,
Duende.
and this is in Mexico, and it's the same thing.
It's a hole
It's a
in the earth.
mm-hmm. And there's little caves
There's a
and
cave.
crevices. There's
And
water.
they're basically calling the cave of the Duende.
Mm-hmm. So I thought that was also
So again, that they're showing you that there's actually locations on this world that they're naming after duendes.
yeah.
So I don't know if that adds facts to the belief.
Yeah. So my biggest thing is, okay, you're saying there's Duende caves, there's Duende grottos, there's clearly people that go here all the time, but no one has ever said they've seen a Duende. Why? What's so different now than before?
Well, I think the circumstances. Like I said, we just talked about the one with the kids. That was a terrible circumstance of a plane crash and the parents, lost, and we came to the conclusion that, oh, maybe the duende helped because, the being the mistreated and all that, and the loss of their parents, that they came in assistance, and that's when they finally revealed themselves. If that didn't happen, they would have not came out at all, and nobody
Yeah.
would have not saw them, and that story would have never been told if that didn't occur, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
So again, to the other stories you gave, like yours, in your situation, you said little girls are not normally out there in the fields. It's usually the little boys, and then now you're present. So now is that a thing of them? Oh, what's that? And
Yeah.
it attracted them to want to come out.
Yeah.
The one with the one at the door of the statue, the animal pissed on him.
Yeah.
It didn't react the first time. Not the second time. It wasn't until it was being repeatedly done
He's like,
that
"I'm
it said,
punishing you."
fuck that, I'm done, and just locked the dog up. Didn't kill the dog, didn't hurt the dog, but just locked it in a room as a form of punishment. So again, it doesn't reveal itself until it's necessary.
Yeah.
It's not just coming out and going, woo, hey guys, just an average day.
Yeah, for sure. I think also what it has to do with is just technology and electricity and just we're talking about earth creatures that have been on this planet for years, centuries, right? I don't think they really understand how technology works.
I don't think not that how it works. I think they know how it works because remember they've been here long enough. I think they would have invented the cell phone already if they wanted to. If they were so smart and advanced, they would have done it already. I think, like you said, they just stay away from it because it's harmful to the earth.
Yeah.
So why would we go and create something that's gonna destroy the trees, create cell phone towers and all that? So yeah, you're right. It does. It probably even gets them mad. The fact
Yeah.
that we're using the tech, and they probably try to find ways to destroy these cell
They
towers and these
do.
places,
They don't like it.
right? And like you said, there was, I don't know if it was the goblins or anything, that you said iron hurt them.
Yeah.
They were hurt by
Yeah.
iron. So again, you know, in a cell phone, there's at least like 60 different minerals that make up a cell phone. You know, probably one of them is most likely some iron inside of a cell phone. But
Yeah.
again, all those other minerals getting heated up at certain temperatures and just the process of what's going on, does that radiation affect them and push
Most
them
definitely.
farther
It has
away,
to.
or has it killed them?
Probably, or really, or like you said,
Remember,
harm
they're
them,
smaller.
burn
They're
them.
smaller creatures. Maybe they
Mhm.
can't withstand the amount of radiation that we can.
Yeah.
You know, at such a higher levels. You know, but then
Yeah.
that would mean that all the small critters in the forest would be dying.
Correct.
A test would have to be done if there was a cell tower next to a tree, and in that tree there was birds, squirrels, and little rodents, and if those rodents would start to die off based on the cell tower being next to it, somebody would have to do like an experiment
Yeah, most definitely.
like that.
Yeah, so that's a lot of what I found in my part of the investigation. So I don't know, you know, there's been a lot of information. I don't know if you have anything that you
So you gave some good stuff. You definitely got me going. You know, you almost got me in the believer side so
Hey.
far. You know, and when I mean as a believer side, in the physical form, you know, like they can be seen in the
Yeah.
physical form and what they look like. When I did my research, I kind of started off small. You know, what comes to my mind, especially like with gnomes. I didn't do too much about duendes. I don't really know about duendes because I didn't grow up in a Latin American country. I haven't really visited that many Latin American countries. So I didn't know too much about that. I really let you handle, you know, the duendes side. But when I think gnomes, I automatically think Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, right? And when it comes to Snow White, there's a lot of, the majority of the folklores that we know of today was actually created written by the Grimm brothers.
So you
right?
mean like children folklores, like children's stories?
All the children's stories that we know of from Disney,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think a lot of the popular ones, so this is the brothers Grimm, or Grimm brothers. They're known for at least 1,200 different folklore
Oh my
stories,
God.
right? But some of the most popular ones is like Rapunzel, Cinderella, the Frog Prince, Hansel and Gretel, Snow White. But the thing is, when they created the folklore, it's very gruesome.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we know in Disney Channel, just happy endings
Yeah.
and very colorful. Disney was able to adopt the story and rewrite it in his own way, in his own nice way, like fairy tales, and sell it off that way. But Disney got a lot of his fairy tales from the Grimm brothers. Well, a lot of people did. A lot of people got their fairy
Mhm.
tales from the Grimm brothers, just took the story and rearranged it into their own versions, you know, and it doesn't violate copyright,
Okay.
right? And so one thing about Snow White, I really believe the seven dwarves represent the seven deadly sins.
Okay.
You know,
How
so-
so?
So I know we're talking about that. I know we're talking about how they have different personalities,
Yeah.
right?
I've read them.
I know they have different personalities, right?
So let's
And,
Have you heard-
let's see here.
And that's when I told you that they.
Let's see.
The theory that the seven dwarves from Snow White actually represent the seven deadly sins? Listen closely and see if the comparisons make sense to you. Sleepy is sloth, grumpy is wrath, dock is pride, happy is gluttony, bashful is lust, sneezy is envy, and dopey is greed. Have you heard the theory that the seven
Okay.
dwarves from
Now, I feel like all of those personalities that he just listed, the seven deadly sins, was
Mhm.
really what we just described when it came to gnomes,
Yeah.
goblins. He labeled every single one of them. I feel like they're greedy. They want these offerings. When we talk about leprechauns,
Mhm.
they want all the gold and they don't
Mhm.
want nobody else to have it. You know, they're greedy when it comes that way. Some of them, they're grumpy. When we talk about the goblin, that could be a grumpy form of a gnome. Cute, lovey, sleepy, you know, and then sleepy, that's probably why we don't see gnomes either, because a lot of them,
Are always sleeping and tired.
yeah, they're on a different hour span than us, you know. Maybe
Yeah.
the time that we're sleeping they come out, and the time that we're awake they don't come out,
Yeah.
right? So the next thing I wanted to describe, that word gnome, I don't know if you could type up for me a gnome etymology for me. You know, we're talking about, you know, gnomes, goblins. I think we should really break down what the word actually means, right? Actually, you know what? Go back to the other one. I best described it there. Yeah, maybe you can go ahead and read that.
So it says, actually, the methodology gnome and biological term genome have completely different origins. A gnome comes from the medieval Latin word genomus, likely coined in the 16th century by the Swiss alchemist. Whoa, I didn't know that. That's interesting. And he may have based it on the ancient Greek genomus, which means earth dweller.
Yeah, it's basically like you were saying, they're earth dwellers, right? And they're also called elementals, right? So when we say elementals, I think they're also in spirit form, right? So we could jump to the next one. All right, so I ended up doing research, and there was a guy. His name is Georges Agricola, and he was a superintendent of a mine,
Okay.
right? And this mine, they were actually mining for cobalt, and I believe it was in the 1600s, I
Yeah.
believe, during the time. And in this mine, they were hunting for cobalts. A lot of mines were known for having like evil spirits, or they were cursed. But specifically in their mine, they would hear a lot of stomping happening in the mines and in the caves. A lot of stomping
Okay.
happening, right? And jump to the next story. It's called the Ore Dwarf Hole. Now go ahead and read that for me.
So, in the almost 600-meter high rock face of the, I can't even say that word, Gonzenhaupt, is an iron mine. Oh my god, iron! That was probably already in use in Roman times, called a Urslock, so the ore hole, by the people of Saragons. It was still in operation until around 1870. A dwarf, a benevolent mountain spirit who announced any danger in good time, ruled the mines.
So during they were mining for cobalt in this mine, they were being haunted by
Yeah, it
this.
says the miner's house eating, loud footsteps echoed from the mine over the rocks and up the wooden stairs, as if 30 or more workers with heavy iron shoes were approaching. The miners jumped out and nothing could be seen or heard.
So imagine what that would sound like if it was 30 people with heavy iron shoes walking. Doom, 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 doom. That's what they would hear, right? And then not only that, they would do pranks.
They would
They
throw
did not.
stones.
They would throw stones. They would hurt their horses that they rode in on. They would poison them. They would do a bunch of crazy things just to get them out of the mine. Because again, when we talk about leprechauns protecting gold
Yeah.
and them being earth dwellers, they were protectors of the minerals.
So in this one, they were protecting iron mine, it said.
Yeah.
It was iron,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
we
and
just
this.
spoke about iron and that it can cause them harm
Well, again, why would they protect it and not want the humans
because
to
they
have it?
obviously they don't want to get hurt by it.
Yeah. Now, let me see. The next one I have. Yeah, the Cobalt demon.
Ugh. That's a soccer player. Says.
Why is it coming out differently on your end? Let me see.
Here. Oh, careful.
Saved it.
So
Let me
I
see.
think it was really cool that you spoke about that that miner, the superintendent of miners, basically was able to go into that mining hole and that they were able to find real stories about creatures, you know?
So back in the day, all the miners, that was the biggest risk. If you were a miner and you're gonna start mining, the risk was entering a mine and it was cursed. Everybody knew that. But the miners would go, who cares? I'm going in.
I'm gonna get money, I'm gonna have to feed my family.
Yes, right? So the reason why I got the confusion, I was wanted to talk about the Kobold, right?
Okay.
So I put Cobalt demon, right? So I don't know if you know what Cobalt is, right?
What is cobalt?
Cobalt is a mineral, right?
Okay.
It's really like a bright blue mineral, and we mine it, and we use cobalt a lot for our electronics, our computers, our TVs, our phones, our vehicles. They get used to make the batteries, all that. So I put Cobalt demon. It says the term cobalt gets its name from Kobold, a German word.
Okay.
Kobold is the name of that demon in the mine that they called it.
The one that was playing tricks
Yes,
and
yes.
attacking.
They called it Kobold.
Okay.
His name is Kobold. Now, the word Kobold, the word Cobalt, the mineral, the blue mineral, comes from the word Kobold, which is a German word for the mythical trickster goblins.
Oh my god.
So the
Okay.
mineral Cobalt means goblin. Okay? Now I just want to point that goblins are underground demons.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Right? And medieval miners coined the phrase because the metal's ore was notoriously difficult to mine, caused miners to fall ill, and emitted toxic arsenic fumes when heated. So when they were mining for cobalt, they would die. Cobalt, you would get cobalt poisoning.
Cobalt poisoning.
Right? So that's why they would call it like the demon spirit, because at first they didn't know why the men were dying. They were going in for the stone, getting in, the men were just getting ill and dying. So they thought there was like a demon in there, just like in the ancient days.
Yeah.
When there was a sickness going around, they thought it was a curse. The ancients thought that they were all cursed, like with a plague. Same thing. They thought they were being cursed with some plague, and they called it the Kobold demon or the cave demon, right? And today Cobalt is celebrated as a vital high-tech commodity used for EV batteries and smartphones.
So
right?
it's in our smartphones.
Cobalt is in our smartphones, but remember I told you the phone has at least 60 different minerals in the phone.
Oh my goodness.
So remember, the reason, all right, now you're probably asking, Agent A, why are you talking about minerals? We're talking
Yeah.
about goblins, we're talking about gnomes. When I started to do my research on gnomes, I found this story of miners, and I saw that miners were having issues with gnomes and goblins. That was the biggest issue. But look how many minerals it takes for us to do everything in our everyday life. So I started to come to the conclusion that we are at war with the gnomes and the goblins, the earth dwellers, for the minerals.
Okay.
Do you think those earth dwellers want to give up all of these minerals, these stones?
No.
You think a leprechaun wants to give you his gold?
No, especially if we're talking about like it going to smartphones, electricity, and that's
We
something they
want it
don't
and we
like.
need it. And it's harming them.
It's
and it's
harming
harming the planet.
The earth, and
And
they
if
know
they're
that.
earth dwellers and that's their job to protect the planet, they don't want you to have it. And that's why they
Exactly.
don't want you in the mines. But you're still going in the mines doing it anyways.
Yeah.
Okay?
So
And
they're gonna
again, we
find
don't
any
know
way.
if they're coming in contact with these beings. And then when they come in contact with these beings, are they harming them? to get them out of the way so they can continue the process of the
Yeah.
mining. Now, follow me there.
Okay.
Follow me, guys. Okay?
We're
Why?
going down the Alice rabbit hole.
You're going down Agent A's rabbit hole, okay? The word cobalt means goblin or underground demon, okay?
Okay.
Follow me.
Following.
All right? Now I'm going to show you cobalt. This is cobalt, the substance. Okay? It comes in blue and gray stone. Right?
Okay.
I'm not going to get into its
Components and everything.
into its periodic table properties and all that. That's just to let you know what the stone looks like, right? That is in our phones, right? Follow me. Now, like I said, we mine all of these minerals.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we get cobalt from?
I'm not sure.
We get 70% of our cobalt from Congo, okay? The Congo is enslaved to mine cobalt every day for us, and they get paid pennies, probably nothing, okay? And they die. There's a documentary called Cobalt Red, okay? And cobalt, they call it I just showed you cobalt's blue.
Yeah.
The reason they call the documentary
it's killing
Cobalt Red
people.
is because they're dying over it. They're spilling blood over a mineral that we live off of.
Wow.
Okay? So smartphones, computers, and electric vehicles may be emblems of the modern world, but says Siddharth Kara, their rechargeable batteries are frequently powered by cobalt mined by workers laboring in slave-like conditions in Democratic Republic of Congo. Okay, there's a lot of protests going on to stop this, you know, stop the new creations of the new iPhones, stop the creations of new cars and new electronics that we don't necessarily need. We don't need an upgrade. We can stop where we're at, you know, because, or pay them properly and not enslave them.
And give them the proper conditions.
Now, the other 30% that we get our cobalt from is we buy it from China, buy it from Russia,
yeah.
Ukraine, you know, other countries that they have it, but they don't have as much
As
as
Congo.
Congo does. Okay? And again, why am I on this?
Yeah.
Cobalt, the goblin,
I mean,
the underground demon spirit. Look what's happening over it.
yeah.
Okay? Now follow me. I'm not done there. Follow me. So just like I said, the word cobalt comes from the German word Kobold, which means goblin or evil spirit.
Oh my God.
So they are mining for evil spirit. Cobalt, Kobold, the demon, the gnome is in the mines. Okay? Now follow me. So
Can you imagine if it's like an ancient burial ground where they like rest their fallen gnomes?
probably inside the earth, yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what comes out.
Well, we don't even know. Maybe a geologist, when they go digging up and they find bones and they don't know exactly what it is, they could be piecing the bones back together wrong and thinking it's some type of reptile or some other critter, but it's actually a little person, probably.
Yeah.
You know, well, that's what people think about dinosaur bones. That dinosaur bones are not dinosaur bones, but they're actually dragon bones, and that some of those dinosaurs are not actually real dinosaurs, but they were actually pieced together and puzzled wrong. Put
That's
it together
crazy.
wrong. Because again, if you've never seen a dinosaur before, how do you know how to piece this together?
Yeah.
They just use they look at other animals and the skeletal structure of other animals, and they say, oh, these bones must go together because based on this animal, this is the vertebrae and this is how it goes together.
Yeah.
That's how they do it. So now stick with me, right? Cobalt, evil spirit, goblin,
Mining.
goblin inside the mine since the 1500 miners, right?
Got
Boom.
it. Okay.
just to give you an example of some other things that we use the cobalt for, not only for phones, EVs, batteries, or cars, but the military and aerodynamic space, to go out of space, the rockets, they use cobalt for the outside layering. That's why you can see this jet is kind of bluish and gray in the outside. It's wrapped in cobalt. So again, those people in Congo are enslaved and dying, so that jet can have an outside layer of cobalt, and so that rocket can go outer space. And again, what is cobalt called? The evil spirit. And who's protecting the cobalt in the ground? The goblins. They don't want them to have it.
Which all that is harmful to
most definitely
Earth.
Okay, now follow me. Keep following me. We still going. Now I told you the goblins and the gnomes, they used to poison the horses.
Yes.
Now what they used was a called thing hippomane, right? And hippomane is this weird looking plant. It comes in different, it usually comes like this. This is hippomane. I don't know if you see that image. It looks
there. Like hippo poop.
Pretty much. And in witchcraft, witches use hippomane to create a lot of potions, specifically love potions. Why? When the goblins in the mines would go and give the horses this hippomane, the horses will go mad. They'll suffer, they'll go crazy.
Okay.
Right? See, so hippomane, what does it do to horses? I think it says hippomane makes them go mad, right? And hippomane makes horses go mad. Hippomane directly translates ancient Greek horse madness. While the name suggests a terrifying trigger, it actually a historical myth. Oh, I didn't know it was a myth. It says harmless. It's supposed to make them a little bit dizzy. It makes them like crazy and woozy. So they won't let the men ride up on the horse and ride off on them.
Yeah.
It won't necessarily
Maybe
kill them.
In large amounts, it made them like
sick.
Yeah.
It'll make them sick. And again, the witches, they'll use it to make love poisons to make for love poisons to make another person in love with you. So it's kind of make you kind of like crazy, head over heels for another person. So it wasn't a long-term thing. It was a small effect. And again, when we talk about earth dwellers and they're supposed to protect the earth, they're not trying to harm the animals. No, they just want the miners gone and to stop coming. And these are just ways of their tricks to get them to, you know, not continue mining.
Yeah, like the story with Beagle.
Yeah, right. Now where else am I at? Follow me. Now I started to do more research.
Okay.
And I said, all right, cobalt, called the evil spirit. Where can I find cobalt, right? Because I was getting into geology and I wanted to study minerals. And when I found cobalt, I said, man, where can I get a piece of cobalt? Even though if you touch it and breathe it in, you can get cobalt poisoning, right? But I started to find out that cobalt is actually found in your body as well. Okay. Just like a lot of other minerals. But it's found in your body as vitamin B12. Okay,
cool.
And so it says cobalt is hard gray metal element, like I showed you.
Yeah.
It's part of vitamin B12. This vitamin is essential for making red blood cells. Okay, so without cobalt in your body, you wouldn't have healthy red blood cells. Okay, and again, what do they call cobalt? The evil spirit. And it's like you have evil spirit running through your blood cells.
Yeah.
I just think that analogy is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm still going somewhere with this. Okay. Follow that analogy. Now, if your body has cobalt, all of the foods, the majority of the foods that we eat, the proteins, also have B12. Shellfish, right? Red meats, dairy, eggs, and the majority of everything we eat has B12 in it, right? And you can get sick from taking in too much B12. Again, cobalt poisoning.
Yeah.
Right? You need to find a balance. Right? Again, so you can't consume it. So what I'm pointing out is cobalt is everywhere. It's in you. It's in the food you eat. We're mining for it. We're putting it in our devices, in our phones, in our computers, in our cars. We're using it in military. We're using it to go to space. All right. And this is the evil spirit stone.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it would make sense that we have cobalt in our system if it comes from the earth. I mean, we are made from the earth.
And I'm glad you just said that, because Genesis 2:7, which states, "Then the Lord God formed the man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being." So yes, God grabbed the minerals, the dirt from the ground, all those minerals, and formed you. You know, and that's what I was saying. Why do we have so many similarities to the gnome? And I said, did God create the gnome too?
Yeah.
Because that gnome is created with
From
the
the
same
earth.
minerals and with the same substance as us, based on that scripture, right? Now continuing. This is a cobalt mine.
That's how it looks in the Congo.
This is how it looks in the Congo.
So sad.
These people are dying out here. They're not in hazmat suits like you would think they are.
Should be, yeah. Oh my god, they're like in regular t-shirts
In
and
bare
shorts.
hands. And the thing is, you see how many people are out here? This is the only job.
That's awful.
So again, not only are you dying over it, and you're not practically getting no money, but it's the only thing you can do to gain money. Remember, 70% of our cobalt that we get is coming out of there. So we need it. And they know we need it. There's a demand for it. And they're there to supply it. And they're forcing their people to get up in the dirt and to supply it and mine for it. Right? And this is the after effect when you clear it out. Now, if gnomes and goblins are dwelling inside these caves, how many gnomes and goblins did they come in contact with in the process of mining this? And do they kill them? Or do the gnomes run away and they're not there?
I think they would run away.
They disappear?
Yeah, they would disappear.
Well, too, I feel like they would try to prevent.
Yeah, and that's why they get sick.
Well, again, they get sick because of the mineral itself. And again, they call it the evil spirit mineral.
They would get sick and they just, they disappear. That's what I would think.
Right? So what do you think about that so far?
I think that's a crazy way to break it down to
because I'm still on the minerals.
Yeah.
Right? Because again, if they're earth dwellers and they're the protectors of minerals, I said, how do I find a duende or a gnome? I want to go find one. Where would I find one? Right? They got to be where the minerals are at, because that's what they're protectors of.
Of course.
So I started to search all around the world where there's mines. Where are we digging up at? Because that's where they got to be located at, right? And then that's when I discovered that the word cobalt literally meant goblin and meant evil spirit. And we were just talking about, is a goblin a demon or not? And is a gnome a demon? Or are we just calling it demon because they're getting in the way of us mining? Right? And I started to look at mineral laws too. And mineral laws, the government controls all the minerals in the world.
Yes, they do.
And America is the only country that it's privatized, right? That you yourself can have a business and start your own mining company and
profit off of that
and start your own, but it'll never be as big as they have their hands on it, because again, look at it, it's being used for military, it's being used to go to space, it's being used for all of our devices. And remember, when we say all of our devices, that's every company needs it. Apple needs it, Samsung,
Elon Musk,
everybody needs it. You're not getting your product if you don't have these minerals.
Yeah.
And people have to die to get these minerals.
That's awful.
And they have to go into the mines to get these minerals.
I'd be pissed if I was a gnome too.
Now, you guys are following me, okay? If a goblin and a gnome is an evil spirit and it's a demon, and they're found in the mines protecting the minerals that we're going after, I started to do some research on AI. And I found an AI called Gnomes. Okay. Now, it's not coincidence that they called this AI Gnomes. All right. Why did they call this AI gnome? Is this AI an evil spirit?
I mean, it goes back to that video of that guy on TikTok that came up that he was talking to ChatGPT and he asked ChatGPT, "Oh, are you a demon?" or "Respond to me if you who's watching you, who's not watching you, like where do you come from?" and all those things. And he had said he was a demon.
Yes. And now, if the ones that know, the symbol next to Nomi is a demon symbol.
Mm-hmm.
It's a demon sigil, which I'm gonna show you the symbol. And not only that, it almost represents the black sun. And if you guys know what the black sun is, that's a whole nother case file to a black sun.
If you know, you know.
So is Nomi, this AI engine system, an evil spirit?
Like maybe it has properties because of the cobalt ingrained into your phone, so there's somewhat of that evil spirit in your phone because of the cobalt.
You got it. And I started to look into Nomi, and
Poor
Nomi,
Nomi. Oh, I'm sorry.
the
And we have-
company, is actually partnering up
He's on AI right now.
and is actually partnering up with U.S. Securities and
With
Exchanges.
SEC.
Yep. Now,
Of
if it
course.
is a demon, which I'm gonna open right now, right, and we're gonna do it right here with us, okay? This is real time. We're gonna go to Amazon, right? I spelled it wrong. Who cares?
He'll figure it out.
We're gonna go to Amazon. We're going to put in King James, right? Demonology. Let's take a little scroll to here. Oh, what is that we see?
Yeah.
The third book here. You notice that symbol?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back. What's that symbol right there?
It's the same Nomi symbol that's on the book.
Let's drag this all the way over here.
Yeah, it's the same symbol, just with a G in the middle. Nomi has the G in the middle. So
I'm not gonna get too deep into demons because that's another case file.
mm-hmm.
But I'm basically pointing out that a gnome is a demon, is an evil spirit, entrapped in the mines, in the caves, dwelling in the earth elementals,
Mm-hmm.
and they're guarding the minerals.
Yeah.
And the United States is at war with the earth dwellers for these minerals.
That's awful.
And if we want to talk about aliens and all that, and what are aliens here for, we're going to get into that now too. Because the earth itself, okay, produces 6,000. All right, now for you, the ones who know me right here in this image, turn the O into Saturn. If you guys know about Saturn, you already know. I just wanted to point that out too. Okay. I wanted to point out too, this guy here, Krakonos, he's the leader of the gnomes.
Like Daddy Gnomes.
He's the mountain spirit. The gnomes follow him around. He's the
Okay.
one who leads them. And you remember that video of the guy who saw a giant on the top of the mountain?
Yeah.
And he disappeared and he
yeah,
went
no
missing?
one knows where he's at.
He took a video of this guy right here.
Wow.
Krakonos. This is who was at the top of the mountain. And again, why we keep talking about mountains? And for those of you who know, if you do your research on logos and you start looking into companies who are using mountains like Mount Sinai and all these, you start to, and as a geologist, you start to learn where minerals are formed. Okay? And minerals are formed in the bottom of volcanoes,
Correct. They are.
right? In the bottom of mountains, right? So minerals are naturally occurring solid elements and compounds that are formed through geologic processes like cooling and magma. Okay, we are obsessed with the mountains and the volcanoes because that's where the minerals are at.
Yeah, it's true.
And in Nicaragua, where you lived, where duendes are,
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of volcanoes, right?
Yes, there is.
If there's volcanoes, that means there's duendes, because the duendes are protecting the minerals.
Yeah. There's a lot of volcanoes and active volcanoes as well.
Okay? So anytime there's mountains and anytime there's volcanoes or any areas where there's gold and minerals, there's most likely evil gnome spirits.
Yeah.
Okay? There was actually this story.
The landslide destroyed Monte Conto.
They call it the catastrophic landslide from Monte Conto, okay, and completely obliterated the wealthy trading village of Plurs.
Which is in Italy now.
Yes, 2,500 people were killed in the disaster, right? And it was the deadliest rock avalanche. But this, right? Nicaragua is caused by
That was my next question.
gnomes.
I'm like, what caused that landslide? That was going to be my next question.
According to Swiss folklore, right? Folklore, gnomes are mythologically blamed for causing the catastrophic landslide that destroyed the village of Plurs.
But how?
Legends say the earth-dwelling spirits created the gold mine for the town. So on the other side of that mountain is a gold mine.
Okay.
And this folklore is claiming that the earth dwellers, the gnomes, are the ones who mined the gold for them, who did the work for them.
Oh.
Okay? But the villagers were corrupted by the sudden wealth.
So they got pissed.
See, they tricked the gnomes. They didn't know why they were mining the gold for them. They probably told them a whole reason why they needed the gold.
Yeah.
But once they went off with the gold and they started flaunting, became all wealthy, it went to their head and the gnomes saw that they were used.
They got pissed.
And again, when we talk about getting disrespected,
They don't like being disrespected.
they do not accept that. And not only that, you just made them mine all their gold and give it up to you for who knows God what you told it for,
Yeah.
right? The reason. And it says the villagers were corrupted by the sudden wealth, deeply offending the gnomes. So they were offended and they caused that landslide from the top to destroy the whole town. But again, that's a folklore.
Folklore.
Okay? But again, the reason I'm pointing it out is because I want to point out the importance of these minerals. It's all throughout the world. That's what we're fighting over. We're fighting over oil. We're fighting over gas. We're fighting over minerals. And these minerals too, metals, irons, steel.
Yeah.
Why? To upgrade our military.
Yeah.
Okay? If you look at the Black Hawk chopper,
Yeah.
the stealth chopper, that's made out of a special mineral that's only found in a certain place, that only we have our hands on it. Okay? And if we let somebody else get access to that, then they have stealth helicopters.
Yeah.
So we need to be the only ones with that mineral.
I would
But
be
again-
pissed if I was a gnome too.
And if we go mining for it, who knows what we're gonna enter. So from the 1500s, we've known that if we go into a mine and we start mining, that there's a curse and there's a possibility that we're gonna come across these evil spirits.
Yeah.
Okay. There was a documentary called Taming the Demon Ore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You guys could just search it up, Taming the Demon Ore. It pops up on Facebook. And it was about mining from the very beginning, since the 1500s. And they talk about the mines being cursed. Do you know where the most special minerals are located?
No.
Where the
I
meteor that crashed the earth that destroyed the dinosaurs.
don't. Where was that at?
I forgot the location where that meteor is at. You guys know where the meteor is that destroyed the dinosaurs. But that collision with the meteor with the earth, the impact with earth, with the platonic plates on earth and the temperatures, caused a bunch of the minerals to produce over time. And all the
nuts.
chemicals over time. So that's the most highest place with minerals.
With the best minerals.
Yeah, right? So Taming the demon ore. Ore means minerals, earthly
Mhm.
minerals. Taming demon ores. Why they call it demon ores? Because we just described what it takes to dig up all of these minerals.
Yeah.
Look what a miner is going through.
Yes.
They're dealing with the curse, you
Their
know.
horses getting sick.
It's a
them being
race.
sick. Yeah.
Not only that, it talks about the competition within the states too. It was a mining competition. At first it was with copper, then it started with nickel, and then we started developing all these unnecessary devices in the house, you know, and we started to grow as America. We started to create all these inventions, right? But you had all these miners. It was a race for mining minerals, and there was the ones who really run the world. The guys who are mining, they were some of the richest people in the beginning of time.
Yeah.
One of the most famous ores too is uranium.
Yes. Very.
Uranium is considered a demon ore. Why? Because look what we do with uranium.
Yep.
We make bombs. Atomic bombs. That in itself is a demon ore.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I showed you what we do with the cobalt and what it's used for and how many people die over it.
Yeah.
So mining is the problem. Inside Earth and going in there is the problem.
Most definitely. And I can see why a gnome or duende would get pissed off.
Yeah, they want us to stop because we're harming the Earth and we're taking what they're guarding. And then what's the reason for them guarding it? Is before they know that if we get those minerals, that's what it can be done with.
Yeah.
Again, if they've been here for so long, why they didn't develop a cell phone already? It's like you said, because they know that it's harmful.
It's harmful.
They
to
would
the
have done it a
planet.
long time ago.
Yeah.
So what do? They guard it and try to stop people from getting access to it, right?
That makes a lot of sense. Especially like how vengeful they would be because we're harming the earth. They wouldn't want that, especially them being earth dwellers.
Yeah, basically, you know. So like I said, I didn't really have too much on what exactly a gnome is, what exactly a goblin is,
Yeah.
you know, what exactly a duende is. I really let you take that over. I was more interested on their purpose and what they're doing, and that's what led me to find out that we might be in some type of combative war with them over these substances, you know.
Yeah.
Not only with countries across the seas, but with living beings, interdimensional beings inside Earth. And we talked about alien species and interdimensional alien species. The government has yet to put a concrete classification on what exactly we're dealing with.
Yeah.
And they
for
said
sure.
there's a bunch of different species, insect-like beings. And again, insect-like beings, that's inside the Earth. Are those insects stopping us from digging up mines? How did we find out there was insect-like beings?
We had to dig.
It had to be in the process of mining
Of
that we
course.
came in contact with one. Okay.
Of course.
So I'm starting to get to a point where I'm not really no longer interested in looking up to the sky like everybody else is, waiting for a UFO or UAP to fly by. I'm really now more interested in what's inside Earth and what's really going
There's
on
so many secrets
inside the mines and the caves and these underground facilities and inside the mountains and all that. And what are they coming in contact with that we don't know about inside the caverns, you know?
Oof.
So that's
That's
what I was interested
crazy.
in. I was interested in what the gnomes were guarding and their purpose, you know? And I let you really kind of describe their personalities, and it really helped
Their
me.
characteristics, what they're here, how do they look, you know,
Yeah.
things like that. So combining all this information that I gave you and what you came, do you believe that duendes, goblins, and gnomes are real?
I think they're real. I think they are interdimensional. They enter the physical form, and they are also in a spirit form that we don't see, and they linger around. But we're also taking advantage of them and entrapping them, because I just showed you the AI know me, and I showed you a sigil, a demon sigil. When we talk about the technology, and when you look at the technology components, like the CPUs and the motherboards to technology, they literally look like sigils, demon sigils, the same sigils that King Solomon use the 72 demons to
Yeah.
entrap, you know. And the thing is, I don't want to go too much into demons. I don't want to touch on
Yeah,
that, but
since
I
that's a
feel
different case
like
file.
it's leading into, because we're
Yeah.
talking, a gnome is a demon,
Yeah, they're
a demon,
definitely.
a evil demon spirit.
Yeah, it's a
Cobalt,
demon. Yeah.
Cobalt.
I mean, they can be malevolent spirits, you know?
Why would we name Cobalt Goblin, evil spirit?
Yeah. That's
And
crazy.
the fact that mining is known to have evil spirit
Yeah.
goblins in the bottom.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that they're definitely real. I feel like everyone around the world is affected by them in some sort of way or some sort of shape and form. I believe that they're not good creatures either. I believe that they're here for one purpose, and that's to guard what they're here to guard, and that's nature, the planet.
Yes. And also, to add to that, I think the reason why we don't see as many of them today is because we're killing them.
Probably, most likely.
And we're using them for evil
Purposes,
reasons.
yeah.
Which is to continue the purpose of technological advancements.
Yeah, most definitely.
That's why we don't see them. I just showed you the finished product of a mine. If a gnome is 1 foot to 3 foot, do you see how deep we dug into those mines?
Mm-hmm.
How many of those beings are we coming across of that size?
A lot. That's so messed
If
up.
that is real, if they're in there in the caverns.
Yeah, most definitely.
Protecting it, you know? So I think we should close with showing some of the movies, because I wanted to mention, because when you showed me the video where he looked like he had goggles on.
Yeah.
In these funny movies, right, they kind of act like secret agents, and they kind of go like on little missions, and you see how he's like hiding, right? So they go on secret missions, and they kind of use devices and technology to to do their thing.
And just to point something out that I just noticed, which was really crazy, that right there in the cast, that girl is Emily Blunt, and she just did Disclosure Day.
That's a good point. So again, is the alien being this gnome?
Maybe.
The creature that they brought forth in the movie Disclosure Day, I think, is an entity that is inside the ground.
Most definitely.
And like you just said, like this movie, The Gnome, it's like they're throwing in our face with Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Now, Sherlock Gnomes, the word gnome means knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So again, Sherlock Holmes was very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
So Sherlock Gnomes, right? And I even pulled it up to verify that gnomes means knowledge, and I think to judge.
You are right on track.
The word gnome shares a direct linguistic root with knowledge, understanding, and the ability to make judgments. And again, when we talk about God and our creators, and if they were here before us, and if they were to make judgments, are they the ones judging us?
Maybe. Yeah. And what we do to the earth and what we do to each other. Most definitely.
And are they our ancestors? They've been here way longer than us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another one I have a gnome named Norm. Okay.
Oh, he's creepy.
I thought this was pretty creepy too. This is from the year 1990, and this to me kind of looked like a duende, you know. And he's a lot bigger in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
They painted him a lot bigger. Oh no, he's kind of like 3 feet,
like
4 feet.
Yeah, he's like 2-3 feet tall.
And I think that's pretty creepy. I've never watched this. I plan on watching it. Right? It looks pretty scary. But again, this movie reminds me of E.T. when I watched the trailer.
Yeah.
Is this kid who comes across this gnome and he tries to help him blend in, you know, and help him and let nobody else see him. It's just like E.T. What happens when the men in black find out that you as a
They're gonna
kid
take
came
him.
across. Exactly. And
They're
then
gonna take him.
when they take him, what are they gonna want to do to him?
Extract information, get his blood, his tissue, everything.
Yeah.
And what's their last movie that you have?
I got like 2 more.
Oh, sorry.
Now, there's this one, The Bewitched Boy. This is from 1955. And remember, you talk about why did gnomes take kids,
Mm-hmm.
right? In the movie, The Bewitched Boy, he was bewitched by a little gnome for being mean to animals. So a little boy, he was always harmful to animals. He would kill animals.
Oh my god.
And the gnome didn't like that.
Serial killer.
So he bewitched him. He casted a curse on him, and he shrunk him down to the size of a gnome. And he had to go throughout his life living like that now. So in the process, now that he's the size of all the other creatures that he was mean to, and now these creatures can now eat him if he wanted to, he had to learn how to be empathetic to animals now, and learn how to live amongst them and be nice to them, you know, and be helpful with them. So he hopped on this, I forgot what type of bird this is, geese,
That's like a goose, yeah.
voyage across Lake Blanford. It's like a goose.
Yeah.
And he has to go searching for the gnome and ask him for his forgiveness
Man.
and remove the curse off of him.
That's crazy.
Okay, so it's The Bewitched Boy.
And that was in 1955.
1955, telling a story of a
Okay,
little
pretty
boy
cool.
being mean to animals and getting a curse from a gnome, and him having to ask him for his forgiveness to release the curse. And we just talked about mines being cursed, okay, from going in there, but
Yeah.
they're saying it's cursed because of the poisons that you would get from the minerals that you were mining. But look at all the other signs of curses that the gnomes are are giving, right? So again, these are just movies, but you guys will go
Get some real information maybe out of it.
yeah. So where else did we see Gnome Alone? That I said there was a movie on it?
Yeah. I like No Malone. That's a good movie.
No, but we read, you brought up something and it said Gnome Alone, and I said, oh, there was a movie called
I can't remember what it was.
Gnome Alone.
I can't remember. But I really like this movie. It's very, very funny.
So yeah, this one was really based on garden gnomes and how the garden gnomes came alive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess to close it out, right here, you know, they want us to have a new world order. There's a movie called The New World of the Gnomes, okay? And The New World of the Gnomes is actually a Spanish TV series.
That's crazy.
It's a whole Spanish animated adventure series produced in Spanish studio, BRB International, right? And it's the spin-off of The World of David and the Gnome. The Secret Book of the Gnomes. It's a spin-off of
That's
these.
crazy.
Secret Book of the Gnome.
I'm telling you, they do it
and
everywhere
The
because
New
it's a
World of the
Mexican,
Gnomes.
I think, channel, if I'm not wrong.
It says,
It says Spanish, maybe.
yeah, it just says Spanish. So I don't know what
Oh, from
channels.
Spain. From Spain. It's from Spain. That's pretty
Okay.
crazy, though. No. So I agree. Gnomes are definitely real. They are not good. I think that
All of them?
they're just like people. There you have good ones, you have bad ones, but
That's why I brought up Snow White and the dwarves. Because
different
man, they show different
personalities.
characteristics, even though they were all considered the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? You don't want to be like
They have
But
different
like that.
personalities for sure. But
Right?
I completely agree. I would like to hear if any other of our agents have.
yeah, you
Any
guys gotta let us know if
stories.
you have any gnome stories,
They can-
goblin,
Mhm.
duendes.
They can
you
DM
know.
us, tweet at us.
Remember, follow us on
DM us.
Reddit. We're gonna drop these stories, you know,
Yeah.
drop them individually, each one we spoke about.
That's at the Pib Files.
And yeah, let us know everything what you thought about everything we talked about today.
Yeah.
You know,
Or if
brought.
we missed anything that you guys might know that we can add to
Yeah,
the
there's
case
so much
file.
more we didn't uncover, you know, because there's so much other things that I came across that I didn't even mention or want to touch on topic on it because I didn't want to, you know, go too many places.
Yeah, there was a lot of information. It was a very in detail case file from all aspects.
So is this case open, closed?
Open.
This case stays
It's
open.
still, I think we have to go find minerals. We have to go see if we see anything, talk to people.
I want to experience a mine.
Hmm.
I want to see if we can get a visit, possibly go inside of a mine, see how deep they go.
Yeah.
I want to get a feel for it, see if I get the chills, like if there's something like weird going
Watching
on,
you.
like a spirit,
Yeah.
you know. And you know, what exactly they're mining, what are they using it for. I want to keep a watch on the AI company Gnomes and what are they doing with SEC and exactly what they're partnering on. We got more case files dropping in the
Yes.
future that are going to connect to this one. All right, that's what I want you guys to remember too. All of these case files they're eventually going to connect, and at the very end, it's gonna be like one big conspiracy puzzle pieced together that you can always go back and forth and be like, oh, last time we talked about this and it correlates with this.
Yeah.
And it's like we're almost talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
So if you go back to our old case files, you would find information that correlates with what we talked about today too, you know.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I think case file stays open.
For sure.
Definitely want to continue our investigation in person. I'm getting into geology, I'm getting into mineral studying again, because if they're the protectors of Earth and they're protecting the minerals and they're like leprechauns guarding the gold and the diamonds and all these things, and they don't want us to have the cobalt and they want us out of the mines, out of the ground, I want to get more into that,
Understanding what that entails.
yeah, why are we being kept out of it, and the interest in
Yeah.
that.
Well, thank you guys for joining us on this case file.
And that's all, folks.
Thanks.